right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Let's see here. I am working on the new software today, so I'm going to have to take a little time to get used to the interface. But if I'm not mistaken, the way it works actually seems to be so much easier. So much easier. It's just a matter of muscle memory because I'm used to all of the controls being in different locations. But already I can tell this is better software. I seriously just have to click one button and it automatically switches between the preview screen and the other screen. That's all I have to do. Seriously, is click one button, and it's a big button. Before, it was a matter of clicking a couple of different buttons. I had to click buttons 4 times, and every button was very tiny, very small. But now, no need to worry about that. It's just one button. Transition button, click it once, click it again. Super easy. I worked on this for several hours yesterday, and as far as I know, I got all of the kinks worked out. I'm not what you would call a tech person. I guess you could say I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not an IT guy. I don't study or do coding, but I have the ability to work with AI to do HTML, JavaScript, style sheets, etc. I have an idea of what I want my layout to look like, and basically what I try to do is describe that to the best of my ability to the AI, and I even can build it and make like a mock-up, an image, a JPEG or something like that, and send it to the AI, and then it can build what I want. But it doesn't always come out right. Yeah, I haven't heard anything serious about Altuve. The bigger concern right now is Hader. I'm not saying that Hader's more important. I'm just saying that his situation seems more serious. I don't think that Altuve's situation is serious. Not from what I've seen. I hope everyone is having a really great day today. If I'm not as quick to respond, you'll have to forgive me. Like I said, I'm trying to get used to the interface here, making sure that everything's working all right. If you're looking at the screen, you'll notice that the scoreboard has changed just a little bit. I've made it much bigger. It was too small before. A couple of different subscribers have noticed, or pointed out rather, that the scoreboard didn't change appropriately to, I guess you could say, display the home and visitor team correctly. And they also mentioned getting hits and errors on the board. I was able to get the HTML, the JavaScript, and all of that change of the style sheet to include those things. So that information should be correct during the game. Fingers crossed. But the scoreboard, as you can see, is much bigger, much easier to see. And as the game progresses, the hits, the errors, and all of that should be listed on the screen. So let's hope that that works just fine. And that was my first test of the mute button because I had to cough and clear my throat. And I'm glad that it worked because I don't want to blow your ears out. Spencer Arrighetti is back on the mound today. That's another feature that I like. It's a little thing, but it's so nice, right? The transitions, there are actually transitions between one screen and another, right? Jacob Melton apparently is in the game. Let's take a quick look at the Astros lineup for today before we get to the first pitch. Jeremy Pena is leading the batting off today. Jeremy Pena at shortstop. Carlos Correa batting second at third base. And Altuve is actually DHing today. He is in the game. Jesus Sanchez batting cleanup today in right field. Christian Walker at first base batting fifth. Yainer Diaz is catching today batting sixth. The Tram Taylor Trammell is batting seventh in left field. Ramon Urias is at second base rather, batting eighth, and Jacob Melton in center field batting ninth. Roman Anthony is going to lead things off for the stinky Red Sox. Alex Bregman batting second. Jaron Duran batting third. Holy crap, I've already got a super chat from Steel Viper. Wow, thank you so much. I need to put a reply on that. First pitch of the game, little outside, 94 miles an hour on the fastball, ball one. I need to make myself a reply to that. Second pitch a little low and inside. There we go. Absolutely. Let's get the W today, says Steel Viper, leading off with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much. Absolutely unbelievable. Here's the next pitch. 3 straight balls from Spencer Arrighetti to start this one off. The 90-mile-per-hour toss missing. Nothing quite close enough. Here comes the 3-0 pitch. Let's see if he can get this one in there. He does. 95 miles an hour right down the middle. Braden, welcome in. My day has been all right so far. How about you? Chris, thank you for coming back. It's really good to see you. Daryl, low and inside. And that's ball 4. On the 3-1 pitch, he misses on the fastball. And we have a leadoff walk with no outs. Gregory, one of our members. Let's go Astros, baby. Absolutely. Shake, welcome in. Go Astros. Fred, let's go Astros. Hello, Daryl. Angel Frias, men of culture. Here we meet again. Indeedly doodly. Bregman hits this out to left field, but it's no big deal for Jacob Melton, left center field. He went after that first pitch, but no. I guess you could say no Crawford boxes for you today, Mr. Bregman. 1 down, runner on first, and that brings up Jaron Duran. Gregory says, let's keep it rolling big at bats tonight. Absolutely. I want to get 7 or 8 more runs. Here's the first pitch to Duran. Nice curveball, 79 miles an hour right in there. 0-1 is the count. There has been so much rain recently. I feel like when I breathe, it's just nothing but that moisture. That was way outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Casey Jones, what's up, guys? Back for another one. Indeedly doodly. Gregory's watching SummerSlam and watching the broadcast. SummerSlam, baby. Daryl, I agree with you. I pray the Astros also have a safe game. Runner is stealing. Here's the throw. Throw is not there in time. Anthony has a stolen base, and that pitch was way outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Diaz had to go way outside to grab that one, so it took away from his throw time. 2-1 pitch to Duran is on the way. That's another one way outside, up and high. 3 balls and 1 strike. Not a lot of strikes from Arrighetti today so far. Ooh, I need to go get my hot water. Here comes the next toss. Below the zone, ball 4. Man, it was close, but it was below the zone. An 89 mile an hour cutter. That's the second walk this inning. So a walk, a fly out, and a walk for Arrighetti, and a stolen base. We have 2 guys on, first and second, with 1 out. I think now would be a good time for them to kind of slow it down for a minute. Trevor Story at the plate. First pitch on the way from Arrighetti. He hits this one into shallow center field. Melton is back. Urias, or rather Melton comes in. Urias is back, and Urias takes it. Soft fly ball. Nabbed by our second baseman, Urias. 2 away. Yes, Eric, yes. Hector Neris, for those of you who do not know, has been designated for assignment. Masataka Yoshida is in the lineup today in the DH spot. He's at the plate right now. First pitch is on the way. Ooh, 88 miles an hour on the cutter right in there. Strike 1. Good one. There comes the next pitch, the 0-1 to Yoshida. Ground ball straight to Urias, who throws it over to Walker. Out number 3. Okay. Not bad. So, a couple of walks. But Arrighetti gets out of it, no problem. How many pitches? 13 pitches? Hey, that's not bad, guys. That's not bad at all. Is it 13 or 14? Let me take a look. Let me scroll down here, and that's 14. Now, that's not a bad result at all, considering how Arrighetti had 14 pitches. First of all, that's not high. That's okay. 14 pitches, especially considering his last performance, right? And then 6 of those were strikes. Less than half were strikes. However, considering how he walked 2 guys and got out of the inning without giving up any runs, and he only made 14 pitches, that's a first inning I'll take all day long. Absolutely, I'll take that all day long. Casey Jones, thank you so much. For those of you who are familiar with streaming software, I mean, you can just grab your phone or grab your computer if you have a webcam like this. Actually, maybe I need to adjust my webcam just a little bit. Let's see. Maybe right there. I guess that's okay. If you have a webcam on your computer, or if you have a phone, you can just connect directly to YouTube and go live and do a live stream. That's true. But if you want to do the kind of stuff that I'm doing here, where you have some information on the screen, you have previews and stuff like this right here, etc., then you need some software. The 2 main softwares that I'm aware of are called Prism Live Studio, and then there's the OBS. OBS is more popular, and I can see why. As I'm using it right now, I can see why. It takes a little time to get used to, because I've been using Prism for a very long time, ever since last year. And once you get familiar with something, it's hard to transition to something, especially if it's more robust. But it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be. Pena is at the plate. First pitch is on the way. Line drive into left field. Pena books it around first base, but he puts on the brakes. Very first pitch. And we got a runner on. The flash is on, baby. Gregory, I do not watch wrestling. I watched wrestling when I was younger, and it was very fun. But to be honest, and fair, I really don't watch much of anything I I'm either doing something, which is most of the time, or I'm listening to books even while I'm doing something. Correa is at the plate, takes that first pitch, the sinker, at the bottom of the zone for strike one. Pena on first base here in the bottom of the first, 0-0. It's all zeros right now. Here comes the 0-1 pitch from Dustin May. A little high, 1-1. I don't even watch TV shows like TV series. I'll watch zero TV series. I like to go to the cinema sometimes, but I don't have as much money to do that, so I don't go as often as I would prefer. Here's a pitch. That's opposite field all the way out. Woo! Way out there, but foul. Maybe about 25 feet foul. That was close to being an opposite field homer. An Oppo Taco. An Oppo Taco, as the kids call it. I'm not sure if it's the youngins that came up with Oppo Taco. It just sounds weird to me. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Another opposite field foul ball. Count remains 1-2. Yeah, Daryl, I think he's okay. He is in the game's DH, so actually, speaking of Altuve, there he is right there. He's waiting on deck. He'll be okay. 1-2 pitch on the way to Correa. Low and outside, 2-2. Gregory, you are welcome, sir. Thank you for your support. Thank you wholeheartedly for your support. Fox at bat. Good day to you. Thank you for being here. Little thrower to first base, but the flash is back. Brendan, Altuve is in the game. He's DH today. And Daryl, you're right. He's a strong guy. Here comes the next pitch. 97, a little high. Full count to Carlos Correa. Casey Jones, it took me a moment to figure out you're talking about hater. You spelled hater, H-A-T-E-R, and I thought, haters. And then when I read the rest of your comment, I figured it out. You're talking about Josh Hader. It's like the haters. I thought you were talking about the haters, like the people that hate the Astros. Like, what? I was confused there for a moment. No outs. Pena on first. Full count to Correa. Here comes the toss from May. Pena is stealing. Swing and a miss. No throw. So Pena gets a steal, but Correa strikes out. That was interesting. No throw at all. But Casey said that Josh Hader's strength and conditioning coach put him through a bit of overkill workout session, so he needs to rest, focus on technique. Okay, is that what they said? I didn't see that, but if that's what they said, yeah, that's interesting. Jose Altuve at the plate. First pitch is on the way. He grounds this one down the third baseline. They say it's going to be fair. But they threw him out at first base. But the home plate umpire said, no, that's foul. Look at this. And now the first base umpire and the third base umpire had a disagreement there. That was close. Third base umpire said it was fair. He's over there like, okay, I got overruled. Home plate umpire said, no, that was foul. So it's 0-1 against Altuve. Thank you, home plate umpire. Here's a pitch. Outside, ball one. The third base umpire is literally over there like, okay, I thought it was fair, but whatever. He didn't like being overridden. That was funny. Guess the umpire behind the plate likes Altuve. Here comes the 1-1. Outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Pena is on second base with 1 out. You said my stats are not working. Which stats are you talking about? The stats that I see on the screen are working. Here's the pitch. This is an infield pop up to the first baseman, and he puts it away for out number 2. Pena stays on second base. Brendan, I'm not sure what you're talking about. The stats... Yeah, the stats are working. Yeah, all the stats are working. The hits are on the board. The runs are on the board. Runners on base are on the board. The batter and the stats, all of those are on the board, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. Is there something specific that you're looking at there? Here's the first pitch to Sanchez. It's in there for strike 1. 2 outs and Pena on second. Come on, Sanchez. You can bring him in. I know you can. Arrighetti spaghetti, that's right. Put him in a jam. Gregory put him in a jam. Here's the pitch. Ooh, low and inside on the Swiffer. Swing and a miss by Sanchez, and that would be strike 2. Well, Spencer Arrighetti's not... I knew Lance McCullers. What's with the comparison between Arrighetti and McCullers? There's no similarity there. Fouled off. That's like comparing apples to elephants. Arrighetti rookie is a nice card. Potential to go up a lot further, too. Or a lot higher. Yeah, it's nice to see Neris going back to kindergarten. Funny, he gets his 10-year thing and he goes right back to the minors. 97 high. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Sanchez. Isn't it pretty funny? He gets 10 years of being in the MLB. They give him a nice saddle and they give him a gift and stuff, and then the very next day they send him back to the minors. Oh my gosh. Here's the next pitch. Fouled off. 87 mile per hour Swiffer, low and outside. No, we haven't traded McCullers. Mariners are ahead late in the game. Let's hope for a comeback against them. Good day, Ron. Thank you for being here. It's good to see you. I'm almost caught up on the comments. Here's the pitch. High and outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 18 pitches now for Dustin May. Astros making him work a little bit. I'd love to see him at 30 pitches before this inning is over. Come on, Sanchez. Let's extend this inning. Let's go, 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 baby, go. Here's the 2-2. Ah, man. Swing and a miss. First strikeout. Well, that's going to be it for the Astros in this inning, and the first inning is finished with 1 hit and no runs. You know what's interesting is the... Oh, there it is. It's updated now. On the actual MLB TV website, the hits weren't showing up. It was saying that nobody had any hits, but I knew that wasn't true because Pena had a hit. But that's the only one on the board. That's the only number on the board right now is 1 hit for Jeremy Pena, a leadoff hit in the very first pitch. Other than that, there's nothing. It's 0-0 going into the top of the second. Let me go in here and grab my hot water, you good people. I'll be right back. Go Stros. I'm actually making a video right now. I just finished the script Actually, I need to edit a few things because I want to make it a little more conversational in tone. Initially, when I built the script, it was just focus on the information, but it's not very interesting. I want to make it a little more interesting. So I'm working on finishing up the final edits. But the video is all about DFA. I think that a lot of fans don't really know fully what that is, what it means, and how to understand it. So I'm making a video about it. Let's see here. Eric Getty's back on the mound. Strike one. Screen is a little blurry. Maybe I should put my glasses back on. Abraham Toro at the plate, batting .251 for the season. 15 pitches now for Eric Getty. Here's the next one. Fouled off. 93 on the outside. 0-2. That's a good start. That's better than 3-0. That's for sure. Redneck, I don't think so. For those of you who don't know, I haven't seen anybody mention Dubin, but Dubin has been activated, so he'll be back momentarily. Here's the next pitch. Just a little high. That was a good pitch. 94. A couple inches above the zone. He didn't go for it, but that was a nice pitch. That was a good strikeout pitch. Maybe if it had been just another inch or two lower, it would have been perfect. Here's a little tapper. Urias grabs it, throws over to first base to get the out. One away. Guys, I'm starting to have a tingly feeling right now about Eric Getty. That's all I'm going to say. I'm starting to get the tinglies. I'm starting to get the tingles. Whoa. Starting to get the tingles. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Wilyer Abreu at the plate. 93 in the bottom of the zone. Strike one. Tommy wants a homer. That's right. I got to get that meme put back into my folder. Here's the pitch. 92 up and out. Fouled off. Strike two. 0-2 again. Back-to-back 0-2 counts. Where is my coffee? Oh. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to Wilyer Abreu. Up and outside. One ball, two strikes. And I'm about to have myself a fresh cup of coffee. Oh, did I leave my thermos in the other room? I think I did. This is fouled off to the first base side while I'm trying to get coffee grounds put in my filter. The count remains 1-2 on Abreu. Here comes the next pitch. Whoa, way inside. Almost hit him. Fastball kind of got away from him there. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the next toss. Grounded foul down the first baseline. Count remains 2-2. Another ground ball right to Urias. It's like deja vu. Out number 2. 2 up and 2 down. Ceddanne Rafaela comes to the plate. Nice and quiet, just the way I like it. Man, I really want to come visit. Still haven't been in Dyking Park. Really want to come visit. There we go. Here's an interesting poll for you. Here's a pitch. Woo! A little generous from the umpire. Below the zone there. Strike one. 0-1. Are we going to get another 0-2 count? I bet he's going to swing right here. Here's the pitch. Oh, he didn't swing, but he got the strike. 0-2, baby. Just a fun poll. I want to see what you guys say. I actually have no idea. Maybe somebody can look that up and figure out what it is. I'm sure someone has asked him. Here's the pitch. Outside, 79 miles an hour on the curveball. 1-2 is the count. 2 outs, nobody on here in the top of the second. Arrighetti at just 28 pitches. An opportunity to get out of it right here before he gets to 30. Here's the toss. He swings at that one. It's a soft hit to left field. Long run, and Trammell's got it. All right, 3 up and 3 down. 29 pitches for Arrighetti in the first 2 innings. No hits. I'm liking what I'm seeing right now. I'm telling you, I'm getting the chilly willies. I'm serious. I'm getting the chilly willies from Arrighetti. I'm really feeling so much joy right now from just... There's a vibe going on with the Astros, with these guys coming in and coming back. We got guys coming back from injury. We got guys coming back from abroad. Correa went to North Korea to study abroad for a while. He learned what he needed to know. He came back to South Korea. He came home. He came home to South Korea. I heard about Dubin coming back. Neris DFA'd. Thank you. Thank you. Makes me just too nervous. Too nervous. Baseball zen. Urias is now coming along. He got his first home run for the Astros yesterday. McCormick, the Tasmanian Devil, making a bid to stay on this team with his first home run of the year yesterday. Even with Hader, I mean, with our pitchers coming back, think about the timing of that. Hader needs probably a little bit of a break. It's better that he gets a break and a rest before he gets injured, right? And we've got guys coming back in. Javier had a pretty good day. Actually, for a first outing back, what a great outing it was. Colton Gordon was recalled. I know that Gordon isn't a really strong, dependable starter, but he could definitely fill a couple of innings, right? Walker at the plate. First pitch to him is low and outside for ball 1. I'm really, really excited. Seriously, though, I'm really excited about the way things are going right now. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling it. The Astros are working it, and I'm feeling it. Here comes the 1-0 pitch to Walker. Right in there, 92-mile-per-hour cutter for strike 1. Yeah, 15 pitches per inning, Michael, is kind of like my limit. If they can stay under 15 pitches, that's okay. It's not great, but it's not bad. It's okay. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. 96-mile-per-hour stinker on the inside. Foul tipped for strike 2. 1-2 is the count. Tingles are definitely good, Gregory. You're right about that. The tingles are good. Hey, Caesar. I saw your message just now. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you. Good to have you back. If the season stopped today, the Astros would be facing the Yankees in the first round. That'd be fine with me. Knock them out early. 97 miles an hour. Swing and a miss on the fastball. Walker strikes out. No comment. Let's move to Yainer Diaz. Maybe Yainer will have a different day today. Now, check this out. Look who's running out on the field. How about that? Jake the Rake, Mr. Baseball himself. You want to bet that May's first pitch is a Swiffer to Diaz? Here's the pitch. No, he threw him a fastball. He made a mistake. He threw a fastball to Yainer right down the middle. And Yainer went opposite field because he is the opposite field king. Man, does Dustin May not understand how to throw to Yainer Diaz? You got to throw him the Swiffer in the dirt outside. He threw him a fastball right down the middle, and Yainer went opposite field. We have a runner on with 1 out. And the Tram is at the plate. Here comes a pitch. Ooh, a half swing, 86 mile per hour. That's the Swiffer. That's also the pitch that Tram has a little bit of trouble with. That's the one that he should have thrown to Diaz. If I were a decent pitcher, I think that I could get a no-hitter versus the Astros just because I've watched them so much. I know all of the weaknesses and their tendencies. As long as I could execute. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Outside. 1-1. It's 1-0, Jay. Man, that's well within reach. They need to get on the bandwagon there. Get with the program. Here's the 1-1 pitch. The Tram goes opposite field all the way out. Oh, man. Upper deck. That ball was crushed to the upper deck opposite field by the Tram. Goodness gracious, that would have been a 2-run shot. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Elbow says, go Astros, indeeds. Let's goes. Here's the 1-2 in the dirt. He tried to get him on the Swiffer, but Trammell was expecting it that time. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He tried dusting the ground. Howdy, fish-eyed fool. Good to have you back. Here comes the 2-2 pitch to the Tram. Opposite field again. This one goes way off into the crowd. Count remains 2-2. Speaking of my coffee, yeah, I think it's ready. This one, I had some black coffee earlier. I think I'm going to put a little bit of creamer, or as they say here in Japan, miruku. Whoops, I'm just dropping stuff. 2-2 pitch on the way. Swing and a miss. Now that was a Swiffer, but it was in the zone. Tram had no choice but to swing at that one. He just couldn't get the bat on it. And that's another strikeout for Dustin May. I swear, I really don't understand it. Why does it seem like there is more creamer, half and half, left in the little thing after you've already poured it into your coffee than what you actually put in your coffee? I drop it on the ground. It seems to splatter everywhere, and I'm like, where did that even come from? I already poured it out into my coffee, and I dropped the container by accident, and it splatters everywhere like it still has a ton in it. Swing and a miss by Urias. Quickly down in the count, 0-2. That was a 97 mile per hour fastball. While I'm fumbling over my creamer and coffee, Urias is fumbling at the plate. 2 outs. Diaz on first. Come on now. Here's the pitch. Fouled it off. Count remains 0-2. Gregory, you're about to have coffee for dinner? Sounds good to me. For those people who are wanting to do some short time fasting, you can skip dinner, have some black coffee or some tea or something like that, and don't eat until the next day. It's a nice long way to fast. 96 outside, 1-2. For those of you who've never thought about it, the word breakfast, where does it come from? 2 words. Break, fast. You break your fast. When you're sleeping at night and you're not eating, you're fasting. When you wake up and eat, you're breaking your fast. There you go. 87 miles an hour outside and in the dirt, 2-2 on that Swiffer. But if you skip dinner and you don't eat breakfast until like 8 o'clock the next morning, that's actually a really good fasting time. From like 5 p.m. to 8 a.m. That's a long time for your body to have a break. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Fouled off. up and in on the 96-mile-per-hour fastball. Urias hanging in there. Two balls and two strikes. Here comes the pitch. Ground ball to third. Nice play by Bregman. And the throw is there, but it bounces. Diaz gets all the way over to third. The first baseman can't handle the one hopper. Bregman made about as good a play as you can make over there, grabbing that ball at third base. He just made a throw that was just a little too difficult for the first baseman to handle. Urias is safe at first. Diaz goes all the way over to third. He tried to scoop it up. He had it. Just came out of his glove. Wow, they're actually going to give an error to Bregman? Jacob Melton is at the plate, batting lefty versus May. 86 miles an hour on the Swiffer, right in there for strike one. J. Paul's got the Coors tingles. The Coors tingles. I hear Coors. It reminds me of that podcast channel where they're always plugging Coors. He's even got the sticker on his laptop. Way up high. The elevator going up to the top floor, all the way up to the roof. 1 ball, 1 strike. 40 pitches for May with this next delivery. Come on, Melton. Now's your time to give us a little something, something. Just a little tappy tap. Give us the third hit of the game. Here's a pitch. Low and inside, ball 2. What would you guys rather? Pena definitely get a chance with bases loaded, or Melton to get a little single here and drive in 1 run? Which would you prefer? It's an interesting question. 2-1. Here's the pitch. 86 in the bottom of the zone. 2-2. Redneck wants to know, what did I think about the Correa taunt when he hit the home run saying don't tuck my jersey? That's a rumor. That's what I think. Here's a pitch. Fouled off his foot. Count stays 2-2. From what I understand, Redneck, they asked Correa about that, and he said, no, I had nothing to do with that. That's just Yankees fans being paranoid. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Melton. Here's the pitch. Ooh, good take, 98. Too high. Full count. Runners on the corners. Full count. Everybody will be running on this pitch. Jeremy Pena on deck. 3-2 pitch to Melton from May. May to Melton. Here's a pitch. Outside. He took it. Strike 3. Oh, man. All right. That's it. 2 runners stranded on base after another hit, an error, runners on the corners, and a taken strike 3. Struck him out looking. There is a difference between being patient at the plate and just being bad at the plate and standing there with a full count. Actually, standing there with 2 strikes, just standing there and taking a pitch anywhere near the zone, I'm sorry, that's just a failure. I met with a friend yesterday for a little while. He is from Totori, good friend of mine, and his sons both play baseball here in Japan. He married a Japanese lady here, and their sons go to the schools. They're pretty serious in baseball. You know, Japan is very serious, for those of you who haven't realized that. I think most of you probably do. Japan loves baseball. It's #1 here, the #1 sport. and they're very serious. They've got some very serious baseball high schools, and they're very popular. They're so popular that even other countries, like there are people in Taiwan and Korea that watch the games, that watch the high school baseball games in Japan. That's how serious they are. Maybe some people in America also do, but most Americans don't think about or care about those things. They're focused on the MLB, right? But my friend and I were talking a little bit about some of these batters just standing there when they've got two strikes and just taking pitches. And I said, anytime, if it's anywhere around the zone, you have to swing. You have to. You can't just stand there and take it. And his response was something like, that's very hard. Those pitches coming in there pretty fast. It's really hard. Yes and no. These are professionals. These are professional batters. And I learned very early to do that. If I can learn to do that in high school, you don't change your way of batting. Now, of course, you get better. You try to get better, but you don't change the concept, right? 1-0 is the pitch to Narvaez. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, 93 right in there. Nice four-seam fastball. 1-1 is the count. Leadoff batter for Arrighetti. Arrighetti now up to 31 pitches. Chicks dig the pop-ups for pitchers, Gregory. Here's the pitch, the 1-1. 93 right in there, fouled off. 1-2. Charlie, that's funny. Wolverine meme where he's looking at a portrait of Jordan instead of Jean Grey. Maybe I'll do that. That's funny. Maybe I'll put that on a community post. I'll come up with that later. Here's the pitch. That's lined up the middle for a single. Melton scoops it up. Narvaez is on first base with a leadoff single. That was unfortunate. On a 1-2 pitch. On a 1-2 pitch. The first hit of the game for the Dirty Smelly Sox. Melton back to the minors. I wouldn't mind that, Gregory. I think there are other players I'd rather see out there. Of course, Jake Myers is coming back very soon, so we'll see. Here's the pitch. 82 in the top of the zone on the changeup. Roman Anthony at the plate. Strike one, Mr. Anthony. Trevor Bauer's videos of him pitching. Yeah, still, it's very interesting, isn't it? He acts like he's got a sword or something if he strikes somebody out. He acts like he has a katana and he puts the katana away. He's very entertaining to Japanese audiences. They think it's interesting to watch him. That ball was slightly outside. Could have gone either way, but it was mostly a ball. 1-1 is the count. There comes a 1-1 pitch. In the dirt. Good catch by Diaz. How did he catch that? I remember the terrible catchers that we used to have. If it was in the dirt, it was an automatic miss. It was either going to be a pass ball or it was going to bounce off their gloves. They were never good at catching those. But these MLB guys, a lot of times, they make it look so freaking easy. Here's the 2-1. Anthony takes it low, a few inches below the zone. Let me close the poll and see. Okay, we got 24 votes. What kind of sauce do you think Arrighetti prefers? 45% say the meat sauce, and then tomato sauce is second. Speaking of saucy, that pitch is outside and high for ball four, and we have two runners on again. A hit and a walk. So we have kind of a repeat of the first inning. The only difference is they got a hit this time. Two runners on, no outs. So Arrighetti started off a little shaky. Started looking amazing. And now is a little shaky again. Bregman at the plate with two runners on, no outs. Here comes the first pitch. High. Fastball is out of the zone for ball one. Green stuff is 4%. The green stuff sauce. Creamy cheese, 12%. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Bregman takes that one up and in. Another fastball. I'm not sure exactly where he's aiming the fastball because the first one was in a completely different spot. 40 pitches now and the count's 2-0. And that one was in a completely different spot. The cutter outside, 3-0. Arrighetti in danger of walking Bregman and loading the bases with no outs. Is it so we can get the triple play? We can get a triple play right now. Let's do it. Here comes the 3-0 pitch. That's in there. The Swiffer. That's an interesting pitch to throw on a 3-0. But Bregman was taken all the way. 3 balls and 1 strike. Here comes the toss. Outside, ball 4. That's a guy that you can't throw balls to. Bregman is normally pretty good at being patient at the plate. So we have bases loaded with no outs, and Diaz is going to come out and have a little visit on the mound. Josh Miller is going to join the party. Carlos Correa. Jeremy Pena. Where's Urias? It's not a party if you don't have everybody. Walker's over. Urias. Where's Urias? There he is. Okay, everybody's listening in. Urias is just like listening in and blowing his bubbles. He's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I got it. Okay, I see. Word. Interesting. Bases juiced. Jarren Duran at the plate for the Dirty Sox. His career batting average with bases loaded is only 208. His batting average this year is 265. First pitch from Spencer Arrighetti on the way. Right in there. Curveball, strike 1. So one thing that I don't see in this software is how many viewers and likes I have. Here's the next pitch. Ooh, swing and a miss. 92 mile per hour fastball. Up and out. 0-2 is the count. Need a pop-up. Pop-up or strikeout. I'm okay with a strikeout right now. It's 0-2. Strikeouts are so much nicer. It eliminates the possibility for an error, right? Unless it's in the ball's in the dirt. Here's a pitch. This is hit high in the air. There is the pop-up. Jeremy Pena is back to grab it. Runners cannot advance. Fred, there's your pop-up. An infield pop caught by Jeremy Pena. Yeah, soft grounder, infield pop-up. Now we have an opportunity for a double play. If there's a fast grounder, we can maybe come home and get the out. Or if there's a good grounder to second or short, maybe we can get the double play. Trevor Story at the plate with 2 outs, bases loaded. Here comes the pitch from Arrighetti. Too far inside on the fastball. 1-0. Pop-Tart. The Pop-Tart's ready. Indeed. Come on, spaghetti. Let's go. Let's serve it up. Here comes a 1-0 pitch. Right in there. 94 miles an hour. Strike 1. 1-1 is the count. The Sox only have 1 hit on the board, despite having bases loaded right now. 1-1 pitch on the way. Story swings and fouls it off on the right side. It goes off into the crowd harmlessly. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Pitch number 50 coming up for Arrighetti in just a moment. I'm with you, Fred. I want that double play ball. I want that double play ball for sure. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. He rips that one foul down the third baseline. Count remains 1-2. Oh, okay. I see we have about 118 people watching right now. Thank you so much for being here. If you've not liked the live stream, I invite you to do that right now. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Trevor Story. Here's the toss. Ooh, fouled off the bat. They're going to say he got hit by pitch. And they're going to say that's walking in a run. Espada is out there complaining about that because they're saying that he swung the bat. Look at this. You can see that it definitely hit him on the finger, but he was swinging. Look at this. Look at this. That's a swing. They say he checked his swing and he got hit on the fingers, so that's going to be 1-0 Red Sox. They walk in a run with bases loaded on a hit by pitch. Hit his finger. It clearly hit his finger. That's true, but they say that he checked his swing, so it's 1-0. Masataka Yoshida hits this to center field. That's going to score another run. Melton makes the catch, and there's the tag. Anthony crosses the plate. It's 2-0. One pitch, Yoshida goes all the way out to the warning track in center field. 2-0. Still just 1 hit for the Red Sox. They've gotten 2 runs with no hits. Or 1 hit, but, you know. Daryl, I thought it was a swing too, but they said it was a check. They said that he didn't go around. It looked like a swing. I'm with you on that. I agree. I agree. Arrighetti throws it over to first base. The runner gets back. Runners on the corners with 2 outs. Abraham Toro at the plate. Come on, Astros, let's do it. Let's goes. First pitch to Toro on the way. Runner's going to second base, and they're going to throw. Did they get him? They call him safe. That was close. Masataka Yoshida is 20 for 20 on his steals. That was close, but he got in there. No, that was Story. I'm sorry. Yeah, he got in there. If you're going to steal against the Astros. Fouled at the plate for strike 1. 1-1 against Toro. I don't know why I thought that was Yoshida. He's the one that hit the sacrifice fly. One ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, runners on second and third. Here comes the pitch to Toro from Arrighetti. In the dirt, another good catch by Yiner. 2 balls and 1 strike. This inning is turning out to be pretty boring. It's too long. It's too long. That ball's hit out to center field and grabbed by Jacob Melton. Toro flies out for out number 3, and that's the end of the damage. So after 3 innings of pitching Arrighetti has given up 3 runs off just 1 hit. How many walks is that? Like 4? 4 walks and a hit by pitch? Something like that. Let's take a look. Yeah, 4 walks, 1 hit, 2 earned runs. No strikeouts. He was showing some flashes of greatness. That second inning was looking really nice. It really was. After he got things kind of worked out in the first inning, he was looking really good in the second inning. And then in the third inning, he kind of reverted. Man, talk about bipolar. It's like watching a really fast table tennis match. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, you know? Yeah, it definitely could have been worse. I mean, 2 runs. Once again, it's one of those things where if he gets through 5 innings and that's all he gives up is the 2 in the third inning, it's not a problem. The challenge here, or the task rather, is for the Astros to be scoring runs. We are at home, right? We should have 5 runs on the board, minimal. And if we can get 7 runs in a game like yesterday, or 8, 7 or 8 runs, if we can get that many runs in a game like yesterday, then there's no reason why we can't get 5 runs today off these guys, off Dustin May and whoever's coming up after him. That was supposed to be the Red Sox best offering yesterday, was it not? May's back on the mound facing Pena. The first pitch is on the way. Pena takes that one low and outside for ball 1. Pena has a single on the very first pitch, his last at bat. Yeah, Viper, I agree with you. Could have been a lot worse than I was expecting it to be, but, of course, hoping that it wasn't. Fouled off by Pena. The count is 1-1. I mean, he loads up the bases in the third with no outs. That's a really bad situation, and to get out of it with only 2 runs given up, one of those just a hit by pitch given by the umpires, that's really something. Fouled off at the plate by Pena, 1 ball and 2 strikes. If you take away that, if the umpire said that was a swing, then they would have had another pitch. Maybe could have turned out differently, but you never know. Here comes the pitch. The 1-2, way outside and low. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mariners won. That's unfortunate. Here's the pitch. Ground ball to the right side. That's going to be through. Another single for Pena. He rips it in the first inning to the left field. This one is opposite field. So the Flash does it again. We have ourselves a leadoff runner with Carlos Correa coming up and Altuve on deck. Here comes the pitch. Wow. That foul ball went right under the legs of Jose Altuve. That foul ball, look at this. Watch this. That was funny. Here comes the 0-1 pitch, rather, to Carlos Correa. 96 on the inside, fouls that off. 0-2 is the count. Absolutely get her done. More worried than today. Yesterday, yeah, everybody thought that it would come out much different yesterday, but the Astros completely owned them. Well, at least for a while. But luckily, we had enough runs on the board to hold on. Gave up way too many runs later on. Fouled off again by Correa. He keeps the count at 0-2. Pena on first base, looking to be moved around. Dustin May with the 0-2 pitch. Correa grounds this one to third. Bregman goes for two at second, and they turn it over. Easy double play there. No real challenge. No runners on with 2 outs for Altuve. Could have had an opportunity with runners on, but Altuve comes to the plate with bases empty. Sob indeed. 4 hits for the Astros and not a run on the board. 1 for the Sox and 2 runs on the board. And they have an error. That's just crazy. Superman at the plate. Here is the first pitch from May. Ball's outside. 1-0. One and 0 is the count to Altuve. Here comes the next pitch. Low and outside, 2-0. Short king. "56 pitches on the way for May." Here's the 2-0 delivery. Altuve takes that one right down the middle. 91 miles an hour on the cutter, 2-1. Yeah, we absolutely need to win this one to make sure that the Mariners, the Submariners, can't gain any ground. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Low and outside. Another good take by Altuve. 3-1. He's only gotten 1 pitch right in the zone. Everything else has been pretty far out. I will say that if Altuve walks here, Sanchez has an opportunity to get a big hit. Well, here comes the 3-1 pitch. Outside, ball 4. There we go. Good job, Altuve. I think that was a really good at bat there. Set it up for your left-hander, your powerful left-hander. Good opportunity for the Astros right here to reclaim some runs. Sanchez double scores Altuve, or Sanchez homer scores both of them. I'll take either one. One of those. Either or. First pitch on the way. He hits that one straight up in the air. I thought it was foul at first, but it's going to be out at the to the shortstop. Thought for a second there he fouled it back, but it was an infield fly. When the cameras changed their angle, I realized, unfortunately, it's going to be a 1-hit out, or 1 swing out. That's it for the Astros in the third. They wound up getting another hit, a walk. Nothing comes of it. 2-0 Red Sox going into the top of the fourth. Arrighetti will be back up on the mound in just a moment. How is he faring against May? Let's see. Pitches are about the same. The only difference is that May has more strikes. 58 pitches for May and 56 for Arrighetti. So May actually has more pitches thrown. That's pretty crazy that the Astros are making him work slightly harder. But they have no runs on the board. He has 37 strikes. Arrighetti's only thrown 31. Their numbers aren't very different, except for the fact that the Astros have 4 hits. The Red Sox have multiple walks, 4 walks. Yeah, Charlie, nobody wants to live in a world like that, where the Astros don't win the AL West. Yeah, it's just 2 runs, but the good thing is that we are putting the bat on the ball. We are hitting. The only issue is, can Arrighetti lock down his control? Because when his control's on, like it was in the second inning, it looks wonderful. It looks absolutely wonderful. Every time I see these videos of them walking around inside Daikin Park, I really want to go. I'd like to go there one day during a game, but go like really, really early and hang out for a while. 91 on the outside edge, strike one. Wilyer Abreu at the plate for the Dirty Sox. Oh, 1 pitch on the way. Low and inside, practically in the dirt. 1-1 is the count. I really don't look forward to cutting the grass. It's going to be so sloppy. I need to go down to the hardware store and get another blade, though. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. Ooh, nice. 77-mile-per-hour curveball. That had a lot of movement on it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Abreu takes a timeout and steps out of the box. You know, Brendan, I've never been to the park. The last time I saw the Astros play was in the Astrodome. I've seen them play a few times in the Dome, but I've never seen them play in this park. 92 up and out. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Abreu. Yeah, Elbow, I'm in agreement with you. It sucks whenever Arrighetti has to work so hard and throw like 25 or 30 pitches in an inning. 93 fouled off. The count remains 2-2. And then in the very next inning, the Astros come up and like the pitcher throws 5 pitches and gets 3 outs, and then Arrighetti has to go right back out there and struggle again. You know, it's like, come on, guys, got to do better than that. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Check swing, did he go? They say he did not. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Whoops. How many viewers we have going right now? About 112. Okay. Thanks for joining in, everyone. Here's the pitch, the 3-2. And another walk. That's 5 walks. And by the way, Arrighetti has never walked 5 batters in a game. First time he's ever walked 5 batters. It's a record for him. Runner on first base with no outs. You take away those walks, this is a completely different game. Ceddanne Rafaela at the plate. Arrighetti goes over to first base, but he's back. Here comes the pitch. 91 miles an hour right in there. Strike one. 0-1 is the count against Rafaela. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Fouled off. 0-2. Yeah, Jay, I think maybe it's you that have said, maybe you've said that before. I've seen that before in the chat. It was probably you that said it before. Making the Cy Young pitchers look like children and the garbage pitchers look like Cy Young winners. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Nice pitch. 92 in the bottom of the zone. Finally a strikeout for Arrighetti. His first strikeout of the game. And that's the first out of the inning, right in the bottom of the zone there. Got him looking. He goes down looking like an Astro. It's funny. Here comes the next pitch. The first pitch to Carlos Narvaez. That's a swing and a miss. A big hack there. That was pitch there. They're talking about how long Arrighetti's stride is before he throws the ball. He's beyond the MLB average. MLB average is a little over 6 feet. His is like 7.2 feet. It's pretty crazy. His release point is much later than most pitchers. 1 ball and 1 strike now to Narvaez. 1 out, 1 runner on. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch. Nope, he goes over to first base. Did they get him? That was close. He's back. Well, I wouldn't say that Spencer is his own worst enemy. I mean, you're talking about a guy who's recovering from injury. So he needs a little time, but he can work it out, I think. He's got flashes of greatness in him. This is hit high in the air on the infield. Urias is underneath it. He's going to put it away for out number 2. But if you really think about it, Elbow, we're all our own worst enemy. Not because we're naturally our own enemy, but if we choose to be, we can be our greatest hero, greatest ally, greatest asset, or our greatest enemy. It depends on what we choose. Roman Anthony at the plate. Here's the first pitch. A little outside on that fastball, ball 1. That is cool, Elbow. That's a great little snippet story. Took your father to the dome, happiest day of his life. Biggio walk-off, landed very close to him. That's awesome. 92 miles an hour. I didn't have I had a nice moment with my daughter when she was little. The first game that I took her to was actually a minor league game. It was the Shreveport Captains in Shreveport, Louisiana. Definitely not as big and important as that by far. But 87 on the outside edge, strike 1, a little generous from the umpire. 2 balls and 1 strike to Anthony with 2 outs. But I was really hoping that I could get a foul ball for my daughter. And sure enough, one came bouncing close to us on the bleachers, and I was able to get it and give it to her. So that was special. She was so excited. She was very little at the time. She had never been to a baseball game. We got the ice cream in the helmet, you know, soft serve ice cream. 3 balls and 1 strike now to Anthony. Come on there, Arrighetti. You can do it. Get that 3rd out. Here's the pitch. Woo, right in there. 3-2. Runner on first with 2 outs here in the top of the 4th. Full count to Roman Anthony. Arrighetti trying to avoid another walk. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. The foul tip. Oh, he didn't catch it. Went under his glove. Really? I don't see why they haven't been considering doing more stuff with the dome. It's a great place. It's an amazing place. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Again. Grounded the right side, just foul down the first baseline. That's a little sad, Elbow, but you know, it's okay. I think the moment that you had together was probably better than just watching the World Series at home. I think I'd prefer your memory. If I had one of 2 memories, I could have a memory of seeing the Biggio walk off with my dad in the dome, or have a memory of watching the Astros win the World Series at home with my dad. I'd prefer being in the dome watching Biggio walk it off. There, did he go? Yes, he did. How about that? Whoo! So close. Anthony's a little ticked off with the umpire. He's like, "Are you sure I went around that?" Well, he said you did. That's all that really matters. Another strikeout. That's the 2nd strikeout for Arrighetti. He gets out of that inning, thankfully, with just 1 Walk. 2 strikeouts now, so that's not bad. We go into the bottom of the 4th. The Astros just down by 2. Christian Walker due up. He's 0 for 1 today, followed by Yainer Diaz. And then Taylor Trammell. Diaz with 1 hit today. Astros have 4 hits. Urias, Diaz, and Pena has 2. Pena's 2 for 2 with 2 singles. Maybe with all of Pena's contact today, maybe, just maybe, he will hit a homer. I just realized that I forgot to put my water in my thermos, and now it's not as hot as it was. I'll be right back. I'm working on some coffee music, by the way. I'll get it going. Go Astros. They're showing some stats on the screen of Christian Walker's performance since July, the beginning of July. He's batting over 300. First pitch in the top of the zone, barely in there for a strike. He's batting 302 since July 1st. Slugging percentage is .508. 6 homers, 28 RBIs. Before that, he was batting .213. Here's the pitch. In the dirt. Ball 1, 1-1. Much improved for sure. Iced coffee with dinner. Did you have anything more than coffee? Here's the pitch. 95 right in there. Walker has taken 3 straight pitches, 2 strikes and 1 ball. He's standing there thinking about it. That's interesting. There's a bat flying around in Dyking Park. Hilarious. Not a baseball bat. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Oh man, Walker. They just talk about how much better Walker's doing. He takes 2 strikes, swings and misses for strike 3. 2 strikeouts for Walker today. Yainer Diaz comes to the plate. Let's see if Dustin May has learned his lesson. Is he going to go with another fastball to Diaz, or is he going to give him the Swiffer? Let's see. Here comes the toss. 91-mile-per-hour cutter up and out of the zone, swing and a miss. There's a bat just nonstop flying around. That's hilarious. Like I said, it's not landing anywhere. It's just flying around. It's going to get tired. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. This is hit out to right field. Playable. Put away by the right fielder, and that's 2 outs. It's kind of funny because they had the Superman bobblehead night, the Altuve Superman bobblehead. And they said it's a bat flying around on Superman night. Just like that, 2 up and 2 down already. Astros quietly doing almost nothing suddenly. The tram is at the plate. Please pull out of the station, make the rounds. 92 on the inside edge, strike 1. Nice upgrade for CW. Brendan asks, do you think Jason Alexander comes back in the pitching lineup? He must. I think he must at some point. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Tram. 85 in the bottom of the zone. Both of these pitches were strikes for sure, but they were well placed on the inside and in the bottom of the zone. 0-2 with 2 outs, nobody on. Come on, Trammell. Here's the pitch. Way outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Spicy honey sausage with shells and cheese. Man, I haven't had shells and cheese in a long time. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Ah, how many times? I don't even want to say it. Do I have to say it? Do I have to say that he took strike 3 looking right down the middle? Literally right down the middle. At least Diaz swung the bat and flew out. Christian Walker took 2 strikes and then swung and missed for strike 3. Trammell just took the strikes. He just took them. Took them all. And went down without even an effort. That is the opposite of Deadpool's maximum effort. That's maximum non-effort. Well, if Tram knows it, he should be trying a little harder, right? Because, you know, he was right there. I feel like Tram was right there at that precipice, you know, that threshold of solidifying himself as at the very least a bench player who's going to be there and be worked into the game as a somewhat dependable left-hander. But doing that kind of stuff is not helping his case. My water's ready. Let me go grab it. Be right back. I need some coffee music. Getty's back on the mound. 79 miles an hour. Alex Bregman at the plate. All right. 0-1 is the count to Bregman. Here's the next pitch. He rips that one foul. Wow. Bregman missed a home run to the Crawford boxes by about 10 feet. Almost. The next pitch will be 80 for Arrighetti. It's a 0-2 to Bregman. Yeah, we need the rake. We need Jordan. We need these guys. Jake looks like he's going to be back before Jordan, that's for sure. Way outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Bregwell. Bregwell. Here's the next pitch. That's hit high in the air. Is that an infield fly? Yes, it is. Thank you, Bregman. A little gift. A foul ball over on the first base side, and Christian Walker puts it away. That's what I like to see. Gotta love those Bregman infield flies. Those are the best. 1 out, nobody on. Jarren Duran comes to the plate. Just like all of the Red Sox, he has a walk. Line drive. Short hop to Urias, who scoops it up. What a nice scoop up by Urias. Man, that was a Golden Glove grab right there. I hope they show a close-up of this because that was great. There it is. Look at this. Boom, baby. Look at that. Woof. Just an easy throw over to first base, no problem. 2 outs. Trevor Story at the plate. First pitch is up and inside for ball 1. Steven Okert going in the bullpen for the Astros. Let's hope he has a wonderful day today. I think this is going to be the last inning for Arrighetti. Arrighetti is now at 85 pitches. 1-1 is the count to Trevor Story. Thank you, Elbow. You're awesome. My love to you, sir. Here's the pitch. Fouled off. 80 miles an hour on the Swiffer. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs. Trevor Story 0 for 1 today. Arrighetti looking to get out of the 5th. Guys, this is a success for Arrighetti. Gets this out right here. 5 innings with 2 runs. That's a success. We have 2 days in a row of success on the mound. Here's the pitch. A little high, 2-2. Well, if Chaz is hitting, might as well have him up there. Here's a pitch. Way outside. Full count. Come on now, Arrighetti. Don't lose him. Don't lose him. Don't lose him. Here's a pitch. Right in there. All right. Arrighetti dots him up on the edge. Who's your favorite painter today? My favorite painter today is Spencer Arrighetti. I just got the Arrighetti original. It's original painting. Painting on the edges. It's beautiful. Nobody needs the middle part. It's the edge. It's the edge. 5 innings pitched for Arrighetti. It didn't look pretty some of the time, but he got it done. Let's take a look at his final stats. That's going to be it for him today. 88 pitches for Arrighetti and 51 strikes. How many walks? 5 walks. Just 1 hit. Now think about that, guys. Spencer Arrighetti only gave up 1 hit in 5 innings. It's the walks and that hit by pitch. Man, the hit by pitch wasn't his fault. It was off the guy's fingers when he swung the bat. So that doesn't really count. But 5 walks, that's what really hurt Arrighetti. Otherwise, what a solid performance. The good thing is that Arrighetti is not one to walk a lot of guys. This is a season high for him. A career high, actually. He's never walked so many batters. I'm not upset with this performance. 5 innings and only 2 runs. The issue today is the Astros not getting runs on the board themselves. That's the issue. Yeah, Charlie, that's why I said earlier I was getting the tingles, because some of what Arrighetti was throwing was really, really masterful looking, but I didn't really want to say it because it was just flashes of greatness. But then that's kind of Arrighetti this year, right? Even before he was out for injury. Urias is at the plate. That first pitch is in there for strike 1. He's got himself a single today. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. In the dirt, 1-1. Yeah, you're right, Elbow. Javier and Arrighetti, and I know that Javier's first day was back yesterday, but after that first inning, he was solid. 1 little mistake to Bregman, and after that, nothing. Here's the pitch. 95 low and inside, fouled off by Urias. 1-2 is the count. Gregory says, if I were manager, I would pinch hit after 3 at-bats by each player who doesn't get a hit or walk. If you're not producing, you're taken out. 96 miles an hour on the outside edge, and that's strike 3. Another strikeout looking. Dustin May has 8 strikeouts. And more than half of those, I believe, are looking. The Astros aren't even swinging at it. They're just letting it go. In Japanese, I'd say, doste, doste. It just means why. Jacob Melton at the plate. Melton also a batter who struck out looking. First pitch is a strike looking. 0-1 is the count. One out, nobody on here in the bottom of the 5th. Here's the 0-1 pitch to Melton. Swing and a miss. 86 miles an hour on the Swiffer. 0-2. Mark says only 50% of viewers have pressed the like. I can't even see the data on the screen right now, so let me take a look at that. I need to refresh my live page so I can see that information. Here comes the next pitch to Melton, the 0-2, too far inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 54 likes and 124. Yeah, that ratio is pretty bad, guys and gals. That's less than 50%. That's really bad. Please like the live stream. Thank you in advance. This is hit hard to left center field. Looks playable, and it is. The center fielder puts it away. Not a bad drive by Melton, but had way too much air under it. Plenty of time for the center fielder to get over there and put it away. 2 outs. Jeremy Pena, we're back to the start of the lineup. Pena, 2 hits today, 2 for 2 with 2 singles. But I feel like with his contact, he has the opportunity to put one in the Crawford boxes and half this lead. Here comes the first pitch. He fouls this one off. 97 on the inside. 0-1 is the count. Come on, Pena. Come on, we need to get something going here. Everybody's being so quiet at the plate today. And when Pena does get on, he's not getting moved around. So just put it out of the park. Don't rely on anybody else. Here's the 1-1, or 0-1 pitch, rather. That's hit up the middle. Is that going to be down? Yes, it is. Look at that. Another single by Pena. 3 for 3 for Pena. Check this out. Pena's first single was to left field. His second single was to right field. His third one was to center field. No kidding. Astros have the highest batting average in all of baseball when facing a pitcher for the 3rd time. Carlos Correa at the plate. 2 outs. Pena on first base. Here is the pitch. 90 right in there. Strike 1. Justin Wilson warming up in the bullpen for the Sox. I knew I smelt something bad coming from the bullpen out there. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Come on, South Korea. Another strike taken on the inside edge. That's 2 strikes taken in a row. It's 0-2. Hey, Jordan, welcome in. He did do well, didn't he? Arrighetti, that is. Yep, Melton's 0 for 2. Here is the pitch. 97 fouled off. Jordan, who knows? I think if it's on the same account, it only counts as 1. Oh and 2 to Correa. Here's a pitch. He breaks his bat and rolls it slowly to Bregman, who's easily able to throw him out at first base. At least he didn't just take it down the middle. Dustin May, 5 shutout innings against the Astros, despite giving up 5 hits. 3 of those are to Pena. That's the problem. Pena has 3 of the 5 hits, but they're not moving him around. The other Astros aren't doing anything. So what's the use in Pena coming up? He's the leadoff batter, gets on base every single time that he's at the plate, literally every single time, and gets stranded every single time. How many left on bases do the Astros have? The Red Sox have 13. The Astros only have 9. But most of those have been Jeremy Pena being stranded on base. Correa has failed to move Pena around 3 times. Altuve has failed to move Pena around 1 time. Sanchez has failed to move Altuve and Pena around twice. Isn't it interesting that the Red Sox have actually failed to move runners around 4 more times than the Astros, but they actually have more runs? It's all because of those walks. And that hit by pitch scored a run. What a strange game this is. Can you believe it? That the Astros could lose a game 2-0 just by walks and hit by pitch. We don't need much. 1 single and 1 good hit. The game will be tied. Okert is on the mound for the Astros. First pitch to Yoshida on the way up and inside. One or no to Yoshida. Here comes the pitch. I think I have Okert's picture, don't I? Yes, I do. There it is. I got to update that on the screen. That next pitch is in there for a strike. One ball, 2 strikes to Yoshida. Opposite field and knocked down by Correa on the dive, but he's not able to grab it. That's going to be an infield hit for Yoshida. He's got a couple of hits in this game. No, I'm sorry. He's got a hit and a sacrifice fly. This was a nice attempt by Correa. He was able to knock it down, but couldn't grab it. Even if he'd been able to catch it, he wouldn't have been able to get him at first base. It's an infield hit. No outs. Runner on first. Batter at the plate is Abraham Toro. That misses. 1 ball, no strikes. Come on, Okert. Here comes the pitch. Fouled off. 90 miles an hour in the top of the zone. And count is even, 1-1. Here comes the next pitch. Fouled off again. 91 mile per hour fastball. Strike 2. 1-2 is the count. No, we're not tied in errors. We don't have any errors. The Astros don't have any errors. 1 error for the Sox, none for the Astros. Here's the pitch. Line drive right at Pena, who catches it, but there's no play at first base. The runner was not off the bag. 1 away. Well, Jason, the Astros haven't committed any errors. Defense has been solid. Too many walks. That's been the problem. There haven't been any wild pitches either. Here comes the pitch. Fouled off. Wilyer Abreu at the plate. Strike one. 0-1 is the count. One out, runner on first base. Stephen Okert on the mound, seeing what he can cook up. Here comes the next toss. Ooh, just barely misses outside. That was not a bad slider. He didn't go after it, though. 1-1. Who said that that was an error? Correa dove at it, knocked it down. But why would that be an error? It was an infield hit. That's nice. That's in there for a strike. 1-2 is the count. That was actually a good play by Correa to keep it from going out into left field. Here's a pitch. This is hit to the right side. Walker catches it. A nice line drive shot. That's 2 line drives in a row caught by the infield. One by Pena and this one by Walker. Happened faster than the cameraman can get over there. That's going to be it for Okert. Guess who is up next, guys? Sean Dubin. Sean Dubin is back. They are pulling Okert out to get Sean Dubin. Man. I'm happy to hear that. Let's see how he does when he comes in. 1 second. I think I got to sneeze. Wow, that one was pretty rough. Pretty rough sneeze. I need to make a Sean Dubin picture. He's been out for so long that I don't have one. Let's see. All right. Yeah, I need to update my picture on the screen to Sean Dubin, but I don't have a picture for him yet. I don't have a caricature. So I'm going to make one right now. It's in the process. It's in the process. Oh, yeah, you're right, Jason. Whenever you have bases loaded, you really don't have many choices of what you can do to get people out without giving up a run. You're right about that. You don't have as many options. Like, even if you hit the ball deep, like you get a fly out, yeah, sure, but they get to tag and go home. So even that is not a good option. I mean, it's a trade-off, but it'd be much better to get a strikeout or an infield ground out or an infield pop or something like that. Sean Dubin, baby, on the mound for the Astros. He's got 1 runner on first with 2 outs, and he's facing Cedon Rafaela. 91 miles an hour on the upper outer edge for strike 1. Next pitch from Dubin. Nope, he goes over to first base. Almost gets Yoshida, who barely gets back. That image for Dubin is still making right now. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. This is hit hard to left field, and that's going to be down for a hit. Very lightly hit. Runners on first and second. So the first batter faced by Dubin gets a soft single to left field. Carlos Narvaez comes to the plate. That was an inside pitch. He kind of had to fight it off. Yeah, I definitely don't want to get shut out. That's for sure. It's pretty lame to get shut out on a day where we were just killed by walks. And one hit by pitch. That'd be terrible. Here comes the first pitch to Narvaez. That's in there for a strike. 95-mile-per-hour fastball. 0-1 is the count. Oh and 1 is the count with 2 runners on, first and second. Here's the toss. Just a little below the zone. That was close. 94-mile-per-hour fastball. The count's even, 1-1. One ball, one strike to Narvaez with 2 outs. Runners on first and second. Here comes the pitch from Dubin. Outside. Another fastball, 95 miles an hour. 2-1 is the count. Two balls, one strike. Here's the pitch. That's crushed to left field, and that's gone. 3-run homer. 5-0. Astros are down. Well, I guess Dubin wasn't ready to be back. Old dog, you came in just at the, I don't know if it's the right time or the wrong time, but you know, if we're gonna lose, we might as well lose like this instead of losing by walks. That ball was hit all the way out to the back of the Crawford boxes, and they got their stupid green hat on. 93 miles an hour below the zone. Look how ridiculous that is. How ridiculous is that? Astros are down after that 3-run homer. Dubin still on the mound, dealing to Roman Anthony. 2 balls and no strikes. Anthony has 2 walks today. Basically, all of the Red Sox have 2 walks today. Here's the pitch. Low and inside. Well, Crispy, this game now is officially a pitching problem. Before it was a hitting problem and a scoring problem at 2-0, but now it's 5-0. So it's become a pitching problem. It's both, but primarily now it's a pitching problem because you're not giving your guys a chance to get you in the lead. It's a reliever problem. It's a hitting/reliever problem. Diaz goes out to the mound. He's going to have a little meeting with Dubin after that walk. So he gives up a home run, and then there's a walk. Alex Bregman is at the plate with 2 outs and a runner on first base. Dubin struggling to get out of this inning. Should have left Okert in there, I guess. Should have just left Okert in there. First pitch to Bregman on the way on the outside edge, 94 miles an hour, strike 1. 2 outs, runner on first here in the top of the 6th. The Sox still don't have as many hits as the Astros, 4 hits to 5. Bregman at the plate with the 0-1 count. Here comes the toss from Dubin. Right in there. Strike 2. Well, old dog, I agree with you, and especially in that situation, I I understand why he did it, because he's thinking right-hander, left-hander versus left-hander or right-hander. I get that, but Dubin, this is his first time back. And I think in that situation, I agree with you. It wasn't necessary. He could have left Ogret in. But what do I know? I'm just a guy doing live play-by-play. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Bregman. I'm not the guy making millions of dollars a year coaching an MLB team. This is hit hard to right field. Might be gone. And it's off the pole. That's a 2-run home run for Bregman, opposite field. 7-0. Dubin has given up a 3-run shot and a 2-run shot. So it looks like the Astros are pretty much done here in the 6th inning. 5 runs scored off of Dubin. Now, granted, one of those runners was not on him, but he's the one that gave up the big hits. Holy freaking cow. Off the foul pole. Just off the foul pole in right field. Opposite field homer. Seeing Bregman with that stupid green thing on his head is so ridiculous. Next batter is at the plate, Jarren Duran. Ridiculous. 2 home runs now for done. Five hits for the Astros, 5 hits for the Red Sox. 7 runs on the board. So the Sox only need 5 hits to get 7 runs. The Astros need 5 hits to get 0. So I guess if the Astros had no hits, they would have -6 runs or something like that. I think that's the correct math. Well, keeping Dubin on the IL, that doesn't make any sense. I don't have any problem with him coming back, but I think in that situation it was the wrong time. So I agree with Old Dog on that. I think in that situation you just let Ogret cook. He could have kept on, you know. Oh well. Let's see here. I think I have I do have a picture. Yep. It's a little late, but I do have Dubin's picture. Let's make him responsible for the current runs by putting him on the board. Oh my goodness. Goodness gracious. All of the pitchers suck. What are you talking about? Are you talking about on both teams? I'm going to put you in timeout for 5 minutes. No nonsense in the chat, please. Arrighetti has not sucked this game. He did have too many walks, but in 5 innings he only gave up 2 runs. The problem has been the relievers and not scoring any runs. Jose Altuve at the plate. Come on, Altuve. Grounds that one to the third base side, just barely foul. At least 1 run on the board. An Altuve homer to the Crawford boxes would be nice. If he can hit a homer, a couple of homers in New York, he can definitely hit them here. Yep. It's it's almost guaranteed that we'll be tied with the Mariners after this game. Outside and check swing, ball 1, counts even. Yeah, we do. We have 4 innings. That's true. It's not guaranteed that we're going to lose. You never know. Here comes the pitch. Low and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Dustin May's day will be done here in just a few moments. He's at 86 pitches. Sanchez on deck and Walker in the hole. Here comes the pitch. Altuve rips it to left field, but the right to the left fielder. Anthony's right there to play it. He didn't even have to move. But, man, that was a strike by Altuve. Just in the wrong spot. Bad luck, that's all. One away. Jesus Sanchez comes to the plate. Let's see if Dustin May has lost enough movement on his pitches to give Sanchez a big hit. Here comes the toss. He taps that first pitch to the mound, and May goes to first base. Oh, his throw is bad. I think it might have hit Sanchez, and he's safe at first base. That was either a bad throw or it hit Sanchez. Let's take a look. Oh, it's just mishandled by the first baseman. That ball had a lot of movement on it when he threw it. You can see that the ball floated to the outside. It was like he threw a changeup to first base. How about that? That's another error. Christian Walker at the plate. Walker hits him into opposite field, and it's going to be caught. Almost. At least he didn't strike out. Good job, Walker. 2 outs. Just like that. Sanchez on first base with 2 outs. Yainer Diaz comes to the plate. Dustin May trying to get through the 6th inning here. This is his 90th pitch of the game. Come on, Diaz. Do something. Do something good. Do something great. Takes the pitch on the outside edge for strike 1. That's not what I'm talking about. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Red Sox either. Here's the pitch. Swing it. There's that Swiffer. That's what I was talking about. The Swiffer low and outside in the dirt. Yainer goes after it. He can't resist. He should just train himself to never swing at a breaking pitch. It would improve his batting average. Here's the 0-2 pitch. He hits that one up the middle. Is it going to drop? No, it's caught by the left fielder. He comes flying in there and grabs it, and that's the 3rd out. Dustin May gets through 6 total innings, giving up 5 hits, no runs. He has shut out the Astros with 91 pitches and almost 10 strikeouts. How many strikeouts does he have? 8 strikeouts for Dustin May. He looks like an ace. So the Red Sox ace yesterday, the Astros light him up, and then today they bring in a guy who's so-so, and they make him look like an ace. It's opposite world. I see what you're saying, Jay. Buehler pitching tomorrow with a 6 ERA. That means that he will shut out the Astros through 7 innings, right? The Astros will have 1 hit. We'll see. Yeah, low light. I think that was a really bad decision. Okert was doing just fine. He got 2 outs. He had 1 runner on. Let him cook. Let the man finish the inning. Let the man finish the inning. You know, if they had pulled in a pitcher that has been consistently performing, just for example, let's say it's somebody like Caleb Wirt. And I'm not saying that Caleb Wirt has been amazing. I'm just saying that let's say that Caleb Wirt is a guy that could have come in that situation and it made sense because of the next batter that was coming up, and you're trying to limit the damage and make sure they don't get a hit. That's understandable. But that's not what happened. What happened was Okert was doing okay, and they brought in a guy who hasn't pitched at all in a long time for the Astros. Why would you do that? Why would you put him in that situation? And then 5 runs are on the board because of that. 5 extra runs. Colton Gordon is now on the mound for the Astros. Let's see if I've got his picture here. I think I do. Oh, I don't. I have to make another picture. I thought I had Colton Gordon's picture already, but I don't. Oh well. Gordon is going to be facing Trevor Story. Here in the top of the 7th, here's the pitch. In the dirt, ball 1. That next pitch is in the dirt for ball 2. Next pitch on the way. Fouled off. 2-1. 4-seam fastball, 91 miles an hour. Still, Viper, you and I are in 100% agreement on that. Putting him in that situation, and he's just off the IL, his first pitch back. Oh, that was ripped down the line and fair, but Correa can't make the play. That was ripped. Might be ruled an error. We'll see. Just missed it on the backhand there. Yeah, it jumped a little bit. Runner on first with no outs. 92 miles an hour on the outside edge. Called the ball, although it was in the zone. 1-0 versus Geaux. He's got 1 single in the game today. Here's the next pitch. Below the zone. 2-0. David, 100%. They did to Okert today what they should have done to Neris yesterday. Yep, you're right. They got it backwards. They absolutely got it. That's a good point. They got it backwards. Here's the pitch, the 2-0. Below the zone again, 3-0 to Yosta. No outs, runner on first, and a 3-0 count. Here comes the 3-0 pitch. Right in there, 91 miles an hour, 3-1. Finally a strike. Gordon not known for throwing a lot of walks, or giving a lot of walks rather. Here comes the pitch. And that's way outside. And speaking of walks, there's another one. The Astros have walked so many batters this game. 2 runners on now with no outs here in the top of the 7th. Man, I'll tell you what, I know that the Astros aren't hitting and scoring. I mean, they got a few hits, but they're not doing a good job at the plate for sure. But their pitchers are really just giving the game away right now. Arrighetti did his best. Now the relievers are just fudging it big time. Here's a pitch. 91 miles an hour, low and inside. Abraham Toro at the plate, strike 1. This is hit hard into right field all the way out to the warning track. Sanchez makes the play and he brings it in. The runner's tag, but runner goes back to first base. The one on second goes to third base. We have runners on the corners with 1 out. Gordon will be facing Wilyer Abreu next. It's not a matter of letting it happen so much, Crispy. I know you feel that way, but they didn't let it happen. They just couldn't stop it. They were powerless to stop it. They didn't just sit back and do nothing. They just were powerless to stop it. That's all. 1-0 is the count to Abreu. Here's the pitch. The next pitch, rather. 93 right in there. 1-1. Runners on the corners with 1 out, 1 ball, 1 strike. Colton Gordon on the mound, dealing right now against Wilyer Abreu. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Ooh, nice pitch. 93 on the outside edge, swing and a miss. A little bit of a tap. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes a 1-2 pitch in the dirt. 2-2. The next pitch is fouled off. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Two and 2 with 1 out. Here comes the pitch. Fouled off again. 92 miles an hour. Low and away. Gordon trying to sneak it past him. Hasn't quite been able to do it yet. Abreu keeps spoiling the pitches. Yeah, maybe he's betting on the games. Espada. This is hit out to center field all the way out to the wall. That bounces off the wall. That's going to score 1 run. Melton brings it in. The runner gets to third base. That should be a double. Wilyer Abreu with the double. It's now 8-0. 6 hits for the Red Sox. Well, you know what? Look at the bright side. If the Astros are going to lose on a day where the Red Sox get a lot of hits, get a lot of walks, get a lot of runs, you might as well not waste effort. If they have 5 runs on the board, it wouldn't matter right now, would it? Just let the Red Sox have it. Let them score 20 runs. Who cares? Go ahead and bring in Cooper Hummel. Let him pitch. Let Hummel pitch. Focus on Game 3 tomorrow. Ceddanne Rafaela at the plate. 0-1 is the count. Ground ball. Knocked down by Correa, and he goes to first. Good play. Runner at third had to scramble back. Runners are now on second and third. Runner at first base is able to advance. 2 away. Carlos Narvaez comes to the plate. Yeah, isn't it pretty ridiculous, Gregory? A 1-run shutout. They couldn't manage to at least put it into extra innings and fight. But look at the Astros. I mean, the Astros don't even have 1 run on the board. Not even 1. Strike 1 to Narvaez. 0-1 pitch on the way. A little low below the zone. 0-1. I bet you my viewers have gone way down, maybe to 75 or less. Let's see. 70! I was right. I was right. Yeah, nobody's interested when the Astros are losing by so much. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. 92 miles an hour in the lower outside corner, fouled off down the first baseline. The count is now 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It is 11:19 a.m. here. This game will likely wrap up by noon. And I'm going to cook myself a nice lunch. This ball's hit way up into the air and into the stands. 1-2, the count remains. The 1-2 pitch to Narvaez on the way. Tapper right to Urias, who scoops it up and fires to first for out number 3. 1 earned run for Colton Gordon. You know what, though? I can't complain about that. I'm very, very sad to see Dubin give up 5 runs. Now, I have mixed emotions, though. I'm really glad that Dubin is back. I think that Dubin has a lot of ability. But bringing him in that situation is dubious. It's a bad situation to bring him in. I didn't quite understand because Ogret was doing just fine. I don't feel like he had any trouble with the next batter. He was going to have any trouble with the next batter. They could have kept the game within reach. Colton Gordon gives up a run here. But if you take away those 5 runs that were given up in the 6th inning, this is only a 3-0 game. A very manageable game. The Astros still have 3 at-bats left, you know. But now they pretty much put the game out of reach. The Astros are going to have to score 9 runs just to win. Minimal. Minimal of 9 runs. Kind of makes you wonder sometimes why they make the decisions they do. I don't know what's going on in their head. I don't know what Espada's thinking. Oh, you're talking about that ball, the center field, Gregory? That fly ball? Maybe so. It depends on where he was playing at, I guess. Let Altuve pitch. Oh man, that would be great. If Altuve were to be the pitcher, if they let him come out and pitch, the crowd would just love it. They wouldn't care that we were losing. They would freak out about Altuve pitching. They'd love it. That would probably get more people to come to the channel too and watch the game if Altuve were pitching. Holy cow, 14-0. That's true, but Pittsburgh is, you know, they've got their issues. Trammell is at the plate, takes that first pitch on the inside for strike 1. Justin Wilson is now in the game. One ball, one strike. Here comes the next pitch to Trammell. That's hit up the middle. The Tram with a little life. The line drive single right up the middle, looking like Pena. Lead-off hit with Ramon Urias coming to the plate. Yeah, Melton, the word that I want to use to describe Melton right now is just forgettable. You don't even realize he's out there. If you try to think of the Astros lineup, who's in the lineup today, you'd forget about Melton. This has popped up on the right side. It might be playable, and it is. Abraham Toro puts it away for out number 1. Ramon Urias fouls out on the first base side in foul territory. 1 out. The Tram on first base. And the guy that's so easily forgettable comes to the plate. Jacob Melton. Watch him do something big right here now that we've talked about him. Here's the pitch. He fouls it off 95 miles an hour. Back into the stands. Let Dubon pitch. That'd probably be a crowd favorite too. Old dog, thank you so much. New software. 95, half swing, foul ball, strike 2. Melton at the plate with Trammell on first base and 1 out. Here in the bottom of the 7th, 1 of 3 innings that the Astros have left to do something. You know, The Red Sox scored all of their runs in 3 innings, and the Astros had 3 innings left. So, 94 fouled off. Count remains 0-2. A 10 spot. Daryl, I'm all for that. 10 runs in the 7th inning. Let's do it. I'm on board. Let's do it. This is hit to the first base side. They're going to say the tag was made at second base, but Trammell is saying that he was safe. They're going to take a look. They might challenge it. They might review it. Trammell saying he's safe. First baseman stepped on first base. He touched the bag, and then he threw to second. I don't see a tag there. He might have come off. I don't know. They're going to say that he's out. Are they not going to challenge it? Why are they not challenging that? Why not? You're down 8-0. Why not challenge it? They didn't challenge it. I mean, it's not like it's a one-run game, and you're trying to make sure you don't lose your challenge. You're down 8-0. Why not go ahead and challenge it? Didn't he look safe? Am I the only one? Daryl, you also said he's safe? What in the world's going on? Trammell stayed on the base. He was like, he was going like this. He was like, challenge that. And Espada looked at it and he was like, nah. Still, Viper, I agree with you. You got nothing to lose. You're down by 8 runs. You might as well challenge it. Might as well. Go ahead. You got a runner in scoring position. Holy cow, why didn't they challenge that? I don't get it. I'm really confused about that. The next batter was Pena. If they had won the challenge, then they would have had a guy on second base with Jeremy Pena at the plate. And Pena's hot today. 3 for 3. Could have had an opportunity to get some runs on the board. Do something. Yeah, and the thing is, old dog, they have a moment to kind of look at it and see if they want to challenge it. Trammell said, I was safe. It looked like he could have been safe. The tag was clearly missed. Why not go ahead and challenge it? I mean, I don't know. I give up. I'll let it go. It's over. Roman Anthony at the plate. Colton Gordon's first pitch is out of the zone for ball 1. Next pitch is also too far inside. 2-0 on the stinker. Wow, what a game. Here's the next pitch. That's in there for strike 1. I feel like this game is kind of the continuation of yesterday's game, because the Astros were doing really well, and then the Red Sox just started scoring like crazy, and they were barely able to hang on and get the win. But then today, the scoring continued for the Red Sox, and the Astros have completely just shut down. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Roman Anthony, the 30th pitch of the game coming up for Gordon. Swinging a foul tip off of Diaz. Count remains 2-2. You know, Espada gets so much bipolar grief, though. Bipolar emotions. He's number 1 in Coach of the Year voting, or he's considered the Coach of the Year right now. At the same time, though, sometimes it's like, what is he thinking? That's fouled down the first base side. The count remains 2-2. Caratini's in at first base. They finally bring Caratini in the 8th inning. The hot bat, the left-hander hot bat, and they bring him in the 8th inning. Let's see how Walker's done this game. Oh yeah, that's right, no hits, 2 strikeouts, and he's left a runner on base. That's right. Who needs Caratini when you got a guy like that? This is hit hard to right field all the way out, and that's probably gone. And no. Oh yes, it is. It's in the bullpen. I thought it bounced off the wall, but it goes into the bullpen. 9-0. Another home run for the Red Sox. Go ahead and get it out of the way, guys. Go ahead and get it out of the way. 91-mile-per-hour fastball just above the zone. All the way out to center field. Melton watches it go. Alex Bregman at the plate. Might as well let him hit one in the Crawford boxes and make it 10 runs. 0-1 is the count. Here comes the pitch. Low and outside, ball 1, 1-1. Yeah, he struggled in his first game and had a good game here, and then the Astros couldn't do anything to help him out. Think about that. Arrighetti actually had a really good game. Jeremy Pena had a really good game, but everybody else, complete disappointment. As a team, hitting was nothing. Relief pitching has been garbage, except for Okert. This is hit high in the air to center field, but it's playable. Melton puts it away for out number 1. Thankfully, Bregman does not get another home run, but he'll probably hit one tomorrow so he can complete the set. He got a Crawford box home run and opposite field home run. So does that mean that tomorrow he'll get a center field home run? That would be an interesting micro bet. Here's a pitch. Here is the pitch, the 0-1. That's grounded. Oh, to the right side. Walker can't. I'm sorry, that's Caratini. Caratini can't handle it. It gets through. Jarren Duran will be on base with 1 out. 7 hits for the Red Sox now. 2 errors, 9 runs. The Astros 1 error, 6 hits, no runs. Here in the top of the 8th. Gregory, you said Espada has no respect for Trammell. What do you mean? Can you elaborate on what you mean by that? Doobie out in the outfield. Here's the first pitch. Trevor Story is at the plate. 0 for 3 today. He did reach base on an error. Here's the second pitch. A little inside. 1-1 is the count. That's true. Well, low light, I wouldn't call it stupid. I wouldn't say that it's stupid. That's too harsh. Can't say that. That's hit up the middle, and that's going to be down for a hit. Runners on first and second with 1 out. Trevor Story manages his first hit of the game. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I see what you're saying, Gregory. I see what you're saying. I forgot about that. I was thinking about just in the game or at the plate or something. I was trying, but you're right. I think you should have listened to him that time, especially since there's nothing to lose in that situation. I mean, you're down by 8. You might as well challenge. So if you weren't sure, I would have just trusted Trammell with that one. Here comes the 0-1. Yoshida is at the plate, takes that second pitch for a ball. Count is even, 1-1. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Runners on first and second. Colton Gordon on the mound. Here's the pitch. Yoshida bounces that one foul down the first base side. 1-2 is the count. We still can win the series tomorrow. And we're probably going to need to do that just to stay tied for first place. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Yoshida. Yosh! Strike 3. It's Japanese for all right. Yosh. Yoshida goes down. Out number 2. I agree. Dubin is normally fair, but his very first appearance back in the game, I think the timing was bad. I agree with that. I wouldn't say it's stupid, but it's questionable. That'll be another run scored as that hit goes into left field. And there we go. That's 10 runs on the board now for the Red Sox. Gordon has now given up 3 runs. I didn't have a problem with him giving up 1 run, but giving up 3 is unacceptable. Every single Sox player now has a hit. So the first half of the game, they had basically no hits and tons of walks. And now they have just been hitting the ball like crazy. 10 hits, 10 runs. Runners on first and second with 2 outs. Abraham Toro at the plate. That's in the dirt. Ball 1. One ball, no strikes. Here's a pitch. This is hit out into left center field all the way out to the wall. Trammell is back. He can't get it. It's off the wall. That's going to score 2 more runs. It's 12-0. A double for Wilyer Abreu. Man, that wall is pretty hard. Trammell goes into the hard wall. I don't think there's any padding right there. Yeah, there's no padding on that wall. Just above his glove. Oh, there's a small pad there. 12-0. Josh Miller's going to come out and have a little talk with Colton Gordon. Gordon has now given up 5 runs. I guess Gordon's trying to show up all of the other pitchers. He's like, oh, you know, you guys can give up 5 runs. I can give up 6. De Los Santos is now warming up. This is who they should have brought in earlier, I feel. I feel that if they were going to bring in anybody, maybe they should have brought him in. My preference would have been to leave Okert in the game. That's what I would have done. But if I were going to bring in anybody in that situation, maybe I would have brought in De Los Santos. But definitely not Dubin in that situation. Here's the next pitch to Cedon Rafaela. Nobody on... No, I'm sorry. There's a runner on second base with 2 outs. 0-1 is the count after that strike. Yeah, it does. It feels like they've given up, Crispy. It feels like that. But they didn't give up. They just... It's just one of those games. Strike 2 to Rafaela. It's 0-2 with 2 outs. Runner on second. Lots of 2s. 51 pitches now for Gordon. Here comes the 52nd pitch. Swing and a miss. Gordon gets a strikeout. Small prize. It's like playing the skill crane. Putting in $100 worth of coins and finally getting a keychain. That's kind of that strikeout for Gordon right there. That's the way it feels. 11 hits for the Stinky Sox. And 12 runs on the board with 2 errors. The Astros, 1 error, 6 hits, no runs. Half the Astros hits coming from Jeremy Pena alone. What a day. What a day. But, oh, by the way, guys, Lola, you mentioned something interesting there about the stealing signals thing. I did want to tell you this. I did see a video this morning of the Red Sox calling their base runners over when there's like a timeout or something like that, calling their base runners over and letting them know what to look for whenever the pitcher is lined up on the mound, so that they can recognize which pitch he's going to throw by the way he's standing. Because whenever you're holding the ball in your glove, you have to grip it a different way. Sometimes your hand is more over the ball, sometimes it's less on the ball, and that causes your arm and your elbow to be further out, further in, or down, or up. And a runner on second base, or perhaps a third base coach or somebody like that, or at the first base side, depending on the pitcher and the situation, somebody different can see, and if they recognize that, they can pass that along to the batter. And the video that I saw this morning, they had a tablet that they were literally showing two different comparisons for a pitcher. One where it was like a changeup, and another was like a fastball or something like that, and they were showing the differences between the way he was holding the ball. One was with his elbow in, and one with his elbow out, because he had the hand more over the ball. And they were showing that to the base runner. They called the base runner over from second base to show him that. So the Red Sox are putting a tremendous amount of effort into communicating these tells that the pitchers are giving on the other team, and their coaches, the runners on bases, are learning this so that they can pass that along to the batter at the plate. So what do you think about it? I'm just telling you that that's literally what they're doing. What do you think about it? Jeremy Pena hits that one way out to the left field wall. It's caught on the warning track. Pena almost 4 for 4. He drives that way out there, just a few feet away from the bullpen. One away. Doobie comes to the plate, his first at-bat of the game. It feels like the 9th inning, but it's only the 8th. One away. Here's the first pitch. That's in there for a strike. Yeah, you're right, Still Viper. What I was talking about? Yes, that's right. The Padres. But they're doing that. They're doing that against everybody. I mean, they are really putting a lot of effort and time into it. It makes me wonder, where's the line? Where's the line between playing the game and cheating? You know? Because these are MLB-approved tablets that they're using, you know? 0-2, and he got a single. Hey, how about that? Doobie with an opposite field single. 7th hit of the game for the Astros, and we have a one-out base runner. The rally begins. Astros going to get 13 runs and win this game. Mark, have a good night. Well, there's definitely nothing wrong with speculating. I don't see too much negativity, Mark. But yeah, he is in the running. He's definitely first place by far to be manager of the year. But to say that I personally don't understand some of his decisions tonight and yesterday. There's nothing wrong with that. I'd like to know the logic behind it, because I don't see the reason. McCormick is at the plate. Ball 2. Doobie on first base with 1 out. Here's the 2-0 pitch. 83 below the zone. Swing and a miss. 2-1 is the count to the Chasmanian Devil. Chaz had his first home run of the year yesterday. Same day that Urias hit his first home run with the Astros. 82 on the inside edge. 2-2 is the count. Robert, I know that a lot of people are saying that. Bregman's over there, Core's over there, and they got it all figured out. Well, you never know. 93 miles an hour in the top of the zone, swing and a miss. McCormick goes down. At least he was swinging. Can't blame the man for swinging. He didn't take a strike three. He was swinging. 2 down. Jesus Sanchez comes to the plate. Well, I'll tell you what, though. Bregman knows the pitchers. Remember, he hung out with the pitchers the whole time he was with the Astros. He knows what they're doing. Here's a pitch. Low and outside. And Doobie takes second base. No throw. Runner on second with 2 outs. We might score a run. Come on, Sanchez. Drive him in. Let's get at least 1 run. Come on. Let's do it. Ooh, up and in, and kind of a defensive swing there. 1 ball, 1 strike. Crispy, Chaz was like a pump and dump stock, right? Yesterday he got pumped. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. Ooh. A little outside the zone, but the umpire really liked it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2 outs. Runner on second. Doobie on second. Just hoping for a chance to come home and put his foot on the plate. Here's the 1-2 pitch. This is hit out into left field. Is it going to get it? No. Bregman is able to float back and get it. It's too light. Too light. We go to the top of the 9th. 7 hits for the Astros, no runs. 11 hits for the Red Sox and 12 runs on the board. The Astros are just barely losing this game by a dozen runs. What a game. This is one phenomenal game. But I will say that overall, as I'm looking through, I mean, I haven't been able to read 100% of all of the live chat and messages, but I will say this, just based on my perspective, overall, I wouldn't say that it's highly negative. I think that people are expressing their opinions, and there's nothing wrong with that. And a couple of times there were a couple of negative opinions expressed, but when I pointed those out, you know, they were kind of retracted and softened, and I appreciate that. Like, for example, you know, if somebody says Espada, you know, made a stupid decision, that's too harsh. That's unacceptable for my chat. I can't accept that. I mean, think about that. Somebody like Joe Espada makes a decision, and there's a reason for it. It turns out to not be good, and we don't understand why he made the decision. We can disagree with it. To call it stupid is hateful and harsh, right? But if you dial it back and say, okay, well, you know, I just didn't understand it. It didn't make any sense to me. That's fair. There's nothing negative about that. It's a fair assessment. So overall, I don't find the chat to be negative right now. Hey, Chas McCormick is pitching for the Astros now, so we don't get to see Altuve. Ali Sanchez is at the plate. 58 miles an hour below the zone. 2-0 is the count. Top of the 9th, Chas McCormick, the Tasmanian Devils on the mound. 71 miles an hour right in there. Strike 1. 2 balls and 1 strike. Crowd liked that one. This is ripped down the third baseline. Line drive caught by Doobie. Out number 1. How about that? 4-pitch out. Roman Anthony at the plate. 81 miles an hour, way above the zone. Here's the pitch. 67 miles an hour above the zone. 2-0. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. A little low and in the dirt, 3-0. Here comes the 3-0. It's barely in there on the outside edge. The crowd goes crazy. 3-1. Here comes the next pitch. Up high, way high. Four balls and one strike. Anthony goes to first base with one out. McCormick dealing no worse than any of the other relievers so far. Here's the pitch in the dirt to Alex Bregman. 1-0. Here's the next pitch. Right in there, 63 miles an hour. Strike one. 1-1. Here's the next pitch. This is grounded down the third baseline. 1-2. Wouldn't it be funny if he struck out Bregman right here? How great would that be? Here comes a 1-2 pitch. Ooh, in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Come on, strike out Bregman. McCormick, here's the 2-2. That's right in there. Ripped foul. Line drive down the line. 2 balls and 2 strikes. You're right, Still Viper. I agree. Here's a pitch. Just a little outside. McCormick, 80 miles an hour. Here comes the 3-2. That's in there. Ground ball, and it gets through the left side. Oh, man. He tried to dot him up with an 80-mile-per-hour pitch on the outside edge, but he missed it. That would have been hilarious. Runners on first and second. Just barely got through there. McCormick in a jam. Jaron Duran at the plate. Did he get hit? 68-mile-per-hour pitch, and he hit him. Bases loaded. Duran's laughing about it. Chas McCormick has got himself into an old-timey jam. Here's the pitch. Ooh, a little low and inside. Ball 1 to Trevor Story. Here comes the next pitch. A little on the inside, but a strike. 1 ball, 1 strike. Just a little high. 2 balls and 1 strike. Chaz going for a Cy Young. You never know. Here's the pitch. That's in there. Line drive past Dubon, and that's going to drive in a run. 13-0. Bases remain loaded with 1 out. Still Viper, your comment is important, so I want to read that. He says it's okay to have some questions or criticism. I still wonder why Greinke got pulled in the 6th inning in Game 7 of the World Series in 19. That's the thing, is sometimes we'll never know. 69 on the upper outer corner, 0-1 to Masataka Yoshida. He fouls this one off, 0-2. Is McCormick going to get a strikeout? You know, every batter that comes up, they're scared of that, right? They don't want to get struck out by a position player. Here's 0-2. It's grounded up the middle. Might be a double play. Goes to second. And this throw to first is... Oh, he's safe. Man, Chaz almost with a double play. It was hit back to him on the mound. He snatched it up. Made a kind of a bad throw to second. Pena had to hurry and grab it and get his foot on the bag, but by the time they got to first base, yeah, he was hoping for it, but didn't quite get it. This next batter is Abraham Toro. He flies out to right field. Sanchez puts it away, but that was kind of fun, a little something different. But Chaz only gave up 1 run. How about that? We got other pitchers giving up 2, 5, 4. Chaz gives up 1. Just 1. 14-0 going into the bottom of the 9th. That was kind of fun. I didn't mind seeing Chaz pitch. Altuve would be cool, but seeing Chaz pitch was kind of funny. That was kind of fun. Yeah, that's right, low light. It turned into, it's like, we're losing, but who cares? Chaz is pitching on the mound. It's all good. It would be nice, Steel Viper, score at least a run, at least one run. You know, one home run would be perfect. Now, Caratini is due up, the Batman. He's his first bat of the game. Caratini. Bring back the knuckleball. It would be cool if the Astros had a position player who could throw the knuckleball. Comes in the ninth inning in a situation like this and just throws the knuckleball. Well, it could be worse, Crispy. Imagine being a Dodgers fan and getting beat by the Astros 18-1. We were on the opposite end of that game, right? Victor Caratini, Yainer Diaz, and Taylor Trammell. We got the Batman due up. If Yainer stays in. And then the Tram. We got a couple of lefties. Depending on the pitcher that's in the game. Giovanni Moran. Let me change that name. Moran sounds so close to moron. Bottom of the ninth. Okay, so he's a lefty. Caratini's going to be batting righty. Here comes the first. Oh, that's the second pitch. They didn't show the first pitch. First pitch was a strike. The second pitch is a strike. They were so busy showing advertisements on the screen, they didn't even show me the first pitch. 0-2 to Caratini. Here comes the third pitch. High and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. There's a pitch. Fouled off. Count remains 1-2. Chaz McCormick's ERA is now officially 18. All right. He's an official pitcher. Here comes the 1-2. Fouled off. We're going to have another 1-2 pitch. It's funny because if you look at just the hits and the errors, 13-7, 2-1, you would think that the game would be much closer. You wouldn't expect it to be 14-0. Here's the pitch. That's fouled off. He's going to run to first base. But Caratini is thrown out. Out number 1. Strikeout for Moran. Yainer Diaz comes to the plate. This is probably the best opportunity of the game for Diaz to get a big hit. Here comes the toss. Low and inside, ball 1. Just from Pena, low light, just from Jeremy Pena is the only one that's been hitting the ball. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Diaz pops that one to center field. He rushes in to get it. He can't handle it. Duran rushed all the way in, slid, and couldn't catch it. He had to run a long ways to get that ball, and at the end, yeah, he wanted to try for it. He missed it. Funny because he was smiling and laughing about it the whole time, and then after he missed it, that smile went away. He's not happy with that. Taylor Trammell at the plate. Outside. We have a runner on first base with 1 out. Looks like they're going to give the Astros a hit for that one. Yainer has a hit. 8 hits now for the Stros. The Tram at the plate. How about a 2-run shot? Make it happen. Nope. Moran steps off the rubber for a moment. Thank you to everyone for liking the live stream and for subscribing, for your donations, all of your help. This game is starting to wrap up. A little meeting on the mound between Moran and the catcher just to get their signals correct. Yiner's on first base with 1 out. 1 ball, no strikes to the Tram. This crowd is largely gone. The seats are practically empty. That's in the dirt, 2-0. Whether or not we're going to see the most amazing comeback in Astros history, that's yet to be seen. I'll tell you what, though, anybody who's stuck around in this game, any Astros fans who stuck around, they deserve it, that's for sure. 91 up and outside, 3 balls and no strikes. Good takes by Trammell. Well, they're not really delaying it. I think they just want to make sure that they don't extend it, you know. It's the opposite. That's way outside. Ball 4. 4-pitch walk to Trammell, and we have 2 runners on. Ramon Urias comes to the plate with 1 out, 2 runners on. It's also possible that they weren't quite understanding each other because this is a new catcher. I don't know if you knew that or not. I didn't mention that earlier. This catcher that's in the game is a new catcher. Urias grounds it to third. This might be it. Is it a double play? No! They make a bad throw to first base. It goes all the way to the dugout. Are the Astros going to score? Yes! Diaz scores on the error. 1 run on the board for the Astros. That was supposed to be a double play. But that throw to first base was bad. And the Astros fans that are left in the building are cheering because we got a run on the board. Heck yes. 2 outs. Yeah, look at that. They're smiling about that. They're so happy about that. Jacob Melton at the plate with a runner on first and 2 outs. Here comes the pitch. Ramon Urias steals second base, or rather walks to second base. Strike 1 to Melton. No shutout, that's right. Something to cheer about. But yeah, because there was a new catcher behind the plate, low light, I think that's one of the reasons why he went out to talk to the pitcher, because new pitcher, new catcher, and they weren't quite on the same page. So I don't think it was just delaying the game. I think it was like, hey, let's get this worked out so we can go home. Here's the 0-2 pitch. A little outside and high, ball 1. Is Melton going to actually drive Urias in? He's on second base in scoring position. 30th pitch for Moran on the way. In the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, that's right. That's right, Viper. There's a bright side to everything. There's a silver lining. The Pirates lost worse than we did. Here's the pitch. Opposite field hit. It probably will score another run. Are they going to hold him up? Oh, no. He's going to hold him up. Paris Chica tells Urias to stop. Why not? Why not tell him to go? Opposite field hit by Melton. Just poking it through. Perez Chica holding up Urias right there. I mean, normally you wouldn't tell him to go. But I'm thinking kind of why not? Pena at the plate with runners on first and third. Here's the pitch. In the dirt, ball 1. You know, if Pena were to hit a home run right here, there'd be a 3-run homer. And it would be 14-4, and I guarantee they would immediately pull in a different pitcher. They wouldn't let him stay in. They'd start getting worried. Even with a 10-run lead, they'd start getting worried. 1-0 is the count. Here comes the pitch. He hits that one up in the air, and foul. And into the crowd. 1-1 is the pitch. 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 1-1 is the pitch Yes, Viper, our offense today was just as good as the Mariners. That's a really good way of looking at it. All the people complaining, oh, the Mariners caught us. They won and we lost. Yeah, but we scored just as many runs as they did. Here comes the 1-1 pitch to Pena. And that's probably going to be it. He hits that one to the shortstop. He puts it away, and that's out number 3. So the Astros do lose, but we put 1 run on the board. 14-1, and the Astros got almost 10 hits. We had 9 hits that game. You really think about it. I know that I've seen some people say that, you know, the Astros weren't hitting, we weren't, but 9 hits versus 13, that's not a big difference. The Red Sox had a lot of guys actually left on base, but what really helped them out was getting the hits at the right time, getting big hits. They had home runs, and getting the walks. These things work together to just make the score much more than it really seemed to be on paper. I mean, think about it. The Sox made 3 errors. They had 13 hits, but they scored 14 runs. It's pretty ridiculous. The Astros just had 1 error. It was not a bad one. 9 hits and only 1 run the whole game. A little unfortunate. Definitely a bad game. I am going to forego. I agree. Low light, I mean, I've said this before. I don't think I've said it recently, but I said a while back, before I started doing the live streams, if I wanted to watch the Astros games, basically what I had to do was rely on other streamers to listen to or watch the Astros games. And sometimes that meant listening to, actually most of the time, 99% of the time, it meant listening to other teams' play callers, because the only play caller that was doing the Astros games was doing those in Spanish. So if I wanted English, I had to listen to the other teams. For example, when they were playing the Orioles, or if they were playing the Pirates or whatever, I would listen to their guys on YouTube do the play calling. And during those times, whenever the Astros would get far ahead, like 6 or 7 runs ahead, those live streamers would say, I'm not going to watch this. I'm not taking this, guys. We're done with this for now. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm not going to watch any more of this. You know, you guys have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow. And they would end the stream early, sometimes like in the 5th inning or the 6th inning, because their team is losing by a large amount of runs, and they just give up. And I thought, if you're a fan and you can't be bothered to watch the game all the way to the end, that's not necessarily good. But when you're doing the games, your whole channel is about live streaming the games, and you give up just because your team is down by a tremendous amount of runs. I mean, what are the chances that the Astros can come back from 14-0? Well, it's like winning the lottery. You know, there's almost no chance. There's still a chance, but there's almost no chance. Still, why would a live play-by-play guy say, you know what, forget this game. I'm not gonna deal with this anymore. I'm not gonna take this anymore. I'll see you guys tomorrow for the next game. Have a good night. And then just end the live stream. I've seen that several times. And I thought to myself, if I ever do my live stream, there's no way I'm ever doing that. And I haven't done that. I wouldn't. I mean, look at the score today. No big deal. That's baseball. We destroyed the Dodgers even worse than this. What goes around comes around. You know what I'm saying? Today is not our day, but tomorrow is our day. That's the way baseball works. Now, I don't have any reason to do the scoring summary today. I'm not going to sit here and read off to my Astros fans all of the scoring that the Red Sox did, because the Astros only got 1 run today. So there's no reason for me to go over the scoring summary, but I can do a quick preview of tomorrow's game and then look at the scoreboard around the league. Thank you, Low Light. It is now, yes, it is now afternoon. It's 12:09 p.m. just after lunch. After this, I'm going to cook myself something to eat. And I've got some stuff to do around the house. I've got to go outside and cut the grass, and it's going to be pretty sloppy because it rained so much, but I can't wait anymore. I've got to get out there and cut it. It's turning into a jungle. It's turning into a jungle out there. Hunter Brown is on the mound tomorrow, guys. Tomorrow's game is an hour earlier than this game, for those of you who don't know. For me, it's 8:10 in the morning. I'm going to start my live stream around 8 o'clock, maybe 7:55. I might have scheduled it for 7:55. If you would like to get notifications of that, you can click on it and then turn the notifications on, the notification bell. But Hunter Brown is facing off against Walker Buehler. And for those of you who don't know, let me show you actually on the screen. I can share this on my screen. You'll see that the matchup predictor says the Astros have a 67% chance of winning tomorrow. I really believe that Hunter Brown is going to have a really good game tomorrow and that we're going to light up this pitcher. That's just my feeling. The Astros will win this series, come back. If you take a look at the matchup here, Buehler 7-6 with a 5.4 ERA. Out of 100 innings, he's given up 110 pitches, only 75 strikeouts, and 46 walks, and 19 homers. If you add up all of this, 156 between walks and hits. That's 1.5, basically. Slightly more than 1.5 guys on base per inning. That bodes well for us. And with Hunter Brown on the mound, I think we have a good chance of limiting the damage. Should not be nearly as bad, as long as the Red Sox aren't genuinely stealing the signs or doing their normal nonsense, right? But we'll see. We'll see how things go. I think it'll be much better tomorrow. Let's take a look at the scoreboard right quick and see what's going on around the league. A little bit of good news. The Detroit Tigers are down 7-3 right now against the White Sox. 7-3 in the 7th inning. That game will probably hold. That's nice. The Angels and the Dodgers are tied up 5-5 in the 5th. Good old draft Dodgers having a little bit of trouble there. The A's winning 4-0 over the Rays. This was a disappointing game right here. The Mariners winning 1-0 over the Orioles. I know that the Orioles are struggling right now, but man, think about this. Think about this. The Mariners, who have been kind of playing catch up, they scored the same amount of runs, like you were saying earlier, right? Steel Viper said the same thing I was thinking. The Mariners and the Astros scored the same amount of runs today. But look at this. They played the Orioles, and we had more hits. The big difference in the game today was that our pitchers just blew the game open for us. I can't say anything about the Astros hitting because the pitchers gave us absolutely no chance in this game. No chance. But look at this. The Mariners only had 6 hits and 1 run. So our offense was better than the Mariners today. Against the Orioles. That's a silver lining. Got to look at the bright side. Anything else? The Stankies destroyed the Twins 9-1. The Blue Jays got to 70 wins. Holy cow, they beat the Curbs. Kicked them to the curb 5-1. Yep, the Brewers lost. I'm sorry, they beat the Pirates 14-0. At least we got a run on the board, right? Anything else? The Rangers lost to the Diamondbacks. That's good. 3-2. And that last game right there, we'll just pretend that one doesn't exist. We'll look forward to tomorrow. That's all I've got right now. I think that what I've got to do now is cook myself something nice to eat. Put on some pants, put on my leg guards, maybe even a long sleeve shirt, some eye protection, and go out there and cut my grass. Thank you, Death Before Dishonor. I appreciate it. It's a little more streamlined and a little simpler. And I took you guys and gals' advice. I told you I'd do my best. Now, if you really, really appreciate it, at the very least, like the live stream. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. But I will tell you that yesterday morning, And yesterday afternoon, all the way up until about 9:30 at night, I worked my butt off to get my system corrected because several things happened at once recently in a technical aspect. My computer, um, I was using Prism Live Studio for my live streams, and there was some kind of conflict because I'm using a laptop right now. My laptop is actually more powerful, mostly more powerful than my desktop. My desktop is a little older, and you've got the onboard GPU, and then you've got the integrated NVIDIA GPU, and you can select which one uses the. It's kind of hard to explain, but basically you can select which GPU that it uses. But in Prism, it's automatically selected by the computer. Windows selects automatically, but Windows was making some faults suddenly. When I updated my software, I updated Windows, and everything was updated. It started having conflicts, and that's why the previews were freezing on screen. And so whenever two resources are trying to use the GPUs either at different times or at the same time, it would cause the previews to freeze. I uninstalled, reinstalled, updated drivers, did everything that I could, and I worked on it, and I never could get it fixed. And I finally thought, what if I just go ahead and move over to the OBS software and get rid of Prism? So I uninstalled Prism completely, removed it from my system, and after I installed OBS, I still had the same problem, and at first it was discouraging, but then I realized something. OBS allows me to choose which GPU system that I want for different things. And after I changed that, no more problem. So I was very happy about that. And then after that was fixed, I took, I don't remember who said it in the chat, but a couple of people expressed how on my scoreboard, the scoreboard wasn't showing the correct order, the home and away team, and it didn't have the hits and the errors on the scoreboard. And I also felt that the scoreboard was too small and not pronounced enough, not big enough. So I had a little chat with ChatGPT about fixing all of those things. So not only was I able to fix the live stream previews, the video previews, but I was also able to get the coding fixed for the scoreboard. And now it's improved and much nicer. It's still not perfect, and there are some things that I still want to improve, but it has to take place over a period of time. I don't have great blood flow in my legs. I have the anemia and the edema problems. My legs swell up if I stay sitting down for way too long. I wear compression socks. It really is important for me to move around a lot. So after doing the live stream, I can't just continue to sit here for hours upon hours doing work on the computer. So I have to do that work a little bit at a time here and there. So it takes time. But I just wanted to let you all know that I appreciate you supporting the channel, and that's what gives me fuel to continue putting the work in to build it, make it better and better. But yeah, we've got the Orioles coming up after the Red Sox. That would be one team that would be nice to sweep. What I want to see is a Game 3 win. We take the series at home against the Sox, and then we win every game against the Orioles. That would be nice. Just win like 4 games in a row. I think that if we win 4 games in a row, the Mariners might lose 2, and then we could go back up over them by 2 games. That's what I'm hoping. Fingers crossed. But that's all for now, guys and gals. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for everything that you've done to support the channel, for the views, the likes, the subs, the donations, memberships, and everything. Greatly, greatly appreciated. And for those of you who've joined as members, I am making some more digital baseball cards for you all, and I will get those made for you as I have time. But because of the huge amounts of rain recently, I've been having to do a lot of work around my house to try to get the water away from it. It's doing damage to my house, and now the grass is way out of control. So I've got to get out there and cut it. I've been putting it off. Well, part of it's putting it off, but it's been raining so hard you can't cut in the rain. But I'll get to it as quickly as I can. Steel Viper, thank you so much. I appreciate that. My goal is to have a great community here. I think that the Astros, as an organization, deserve to have a presence like this online that's different than the other Astros channels and also different from the other teams' channels. And let's continue to build something great, shall we? Daryl, see you later also. Steel Viper, thank you for being here. All of my members, thank you so much. And we will see you back here tomorrow, 1 hour earlier than today, for game number 3 versus the Stinky Red Sox. Let's go for the series win and forget about today. Let's just look forward. We were the last ones to score in this game. That means we can continue it forward tomorrow. Inning 1, let's get her done. That's all for now. I will say go Astros, and I will see you tomorrows. Bye-bye.